Cheers, Seaway. Thank you for that as well. JR, 'cause I know there's going to be an opposite view. So, JR, what are you saying?
Good
Let's go
evening,
into it
people.
tonight.
Yeah, no, actually, there isn't much pushback from me. I think it's been long enough now where Shaq may be to the point where he just resigned himself to it's not working. And, we've spoken about, uh, you know, their relationship over the last 12, 13 episodes. And it seems like in the last two, remember, we've done like 13, 14. In the last two, she's really tried to open up more and tried to, I want to say, connect with him more. I still don't think she's feeling him as much as he probably would like her to, but I will give her credit. In the last 2 weeks, it looks like she has tried to connect. He is not receptive anymore, so I think it may be too little too late. And the comment about masculinity, I mean, admittedly, she didn't bring it up, but the hesitation.
I need to start saying shit when I know.
The hesitation when she answered, like that kind of said it all, She's just not going to see him in a way how he would like to be seen. And I think he's starting to push back on that now and check out. I'll leave it to the other panelists to add on.
Crystal, talk to me.
I will agree with Seaway on this. I was like, what are you showing her to the laundry room for? And then she got to find her own rope. And then what are you doing? And I said, you got to do better than this. So I will agree with you on that. And then Shaq does have a slick mouth. So that I agree with you on that. Like you say that she was out running the streets. And before she even gave that look, everybody says my facial expressions are so vivid. I was like, I don't think she was running the streets, Shaq. And so he says you were out there running the streets and she had an open house. And then I'll agree with you. If she had an open house, which is potential money, which is her job, she could. Now, I think they just don't communicate. Her idea of masculine, like Seaway said, my father was in the military, 46 years as a Marine, 26 years service, and then another 20 years on base in logistics. Different type of masculine energy. Shaq gives her, yes, yes, he's safe. Yes, he's the provider. But is he that traditional sense of masculine? No. And I looked for, y'all know I'm in production. I looked for, are they clipping this together? Was that long of a pause? And she did take a long pause. So that was not clipped together. And I was looking for it. He's not the traditional sense of masculine. Is he going to protect her if a man tries to, get her in the street? No, but he will give her, provide a safe home. But Shaq got a kind of a sassy mouth. Like Shaq got a slick mouth. Oh, you were out there running the street because when he get in a bad mood. And I saw that. She said this was not this was not on the calendar. I had an open house and my father wanted me to plan something. You could have said, let me do the open house because that's money, that's potential, my job. And then I'll meet you. If the open house is Saturday, I'll meet you Sunday morning or straight from the open house, I'll meet you at your event. She could, but they don't communicate. Shaq was like, oh, okay, whatever. And that's what her thing is. Put your foot down, Shaq, be decisive. And he's just not that person. So that's on him too. So I agree with y'all on that. They just don't communicate well. But people's idea of masculine is not everybody's idea of masculine. My idea of maybe traditionally masculine, like I said, my father, a Marine, Seaway's father is a police officer, is different. But and he's not going to be that. He's never going to be that person. So she wants him to be throwing stuff around and doing everything. And I agree with you, Kojo a little bit. She does want to sit there on the couch while he, lugs the furniture around. He's not that guy. He's the guy that's going to call a mover. He's going to call the moving company. So that's just it for now.
Appreciate that. Trey, talk to me, babe.
Evening, y'all. Evening. So we already see what type of night this is about to be. Post Shaq. We about to pile up on him. We already see it coming. I'll say this. Everything that we've been saying about Shaq, it's not like we haven't seen this since episode 1. This is nothing new. Nothing new. We kind of already had a sense of this is the type of man he is. We can sit here and try to tell him to, hey, bro, you need to step up, be more masculine in someone else's eye or opinion. But if it's not him, it's just not him. My issue was with all of this, I think her name was Dr. Pia, right? My issue was, and Dr. Pia kind of was trying to hint at this, Kirsten, is trying to shape him into something that he's not. That's a problem. One. She's also setting certain expectations of him that he's never going to be able to feel. He's just not, because of who he is. That's number 2. And she's also, I had something to say. One of my main things was going to be tonight, like, listen, for better or for worse, we all kind of judge our relationships off of who our parents were. Like for men, we tend to look for something closer to our mother, if you have a mother in your life, or some type of female role, female figure in your life that you respect. You kind of tend to move your women towards that. Like, okay, yeah, this is the type of chick I want. For women, their fathers. If they don't have a father, some type of other male role model. This type of man I want. Now, it can be good, it can be bad. It has its pros and it has its cons. In this particular instance, to me it's a big con, because number one, we haven't even met her father. Number one, he doesn't want to meet Shaq. I think that's the key one. He don't want to meet this dude. And Shaq is sensing that. So a lot of his pettiness is coming from stuff that he has no control over. The dad don't want to meet you because he already made up his mind he ain't going to like you because of the situation that his daughter chose to put herself in. So, and yet she's still comparing, even though she says she's not, she is comparing Shaq to her father because that is her litmus test. So honestly, for most men, even if Shaq was more masculine, even if he was, I got a sneaky suspicion it probably still wouldn't help, because she's still going to compare that man to her father. And like I said, that could be good or bad. Like, you can look for qualities, but at some point in time, that man is his own man. He is not your father. He is not your father. I say that to the fellas too. That woman is not your mama. Okay? She's not your mama. But we'll delve deep into it as we go along. But yeah, and that whole pause, yeah, I counted. It was like 7 seconds. I was like, okay, you take it way too long. And unlike Seaway, I had to actually appreciate the question, because it really needed to be asked. It was glaring, sitting right in front of you. Sometimes you just got to put some stuff out there. Do you think your husband is masculine? Because obviously the doctor saw it. It was like, okay, nah, you feeling some type of way about him. Let me ask the question. So she did. Now, I appreciate the question because it gave you a real answer to the situation. And I don't care what type of man you are, non-masculine, masculine man, when your masculinity is challenged in a certain type of way, it don't feel good. And you saw it all over Shaq's face. It did not feel good at all. But we'll get deeper into it as we go along.
Yes, hearing you strongly, and the more I hear you guys' opinions, the more I'm deeper in it. Like, Kirsten, come on, sis, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And I think it's quite interesting our reactions, right? In the beginning of the relationship, when Kirsten's rejecting, when she's rejecting Shaq, it's quite interesting how people view that situation. Not saying they got behind Kirsten, not saying that they backed her, but it's the way that they've gone about it is different. When a man rejects a woman, it's interesting the kind of energy that comes out, without there being, and what I mean by this is without there being an explanation. So like when he's rejecting her, no one goes, let's actually break it down as to why he's rejecting her. But when she was rejecting him, she's like, well, you have to understand she don't find him attractive, this and that, this and that. There are always explanations behind the reason why she does what she does. But when he's rejecting her, it's like, yeah, no, can't see him. He's sassy. He's this. He's feminine. He's this. He's that. No real explanation behind why he rejects her. Let's keep it a buck, right? I'm gonna tell you straight. I'd have been out in week 4, week 3, maybe even week 2, maybe even week 1. Shoot, I'd have been out the first few days, because if you go and reject me the way that she rejected you, and me personally, I'm not going to be doing overly touchy feely at the beginning. I don't know you. I want to get to know you. I want to have a conversation. I'm going to go by the conversation. You know what I mean? I'm going to go by the conversation. I'm going to go by how the energy is being read, because this ain't no different to me meeting someone on the road and talking to them and like getting to know them. You will know instantly whether that person's kind of feeling you or not, or even at least it's giving you some time of day. Like, and that's what I said about energy. You can't fake that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you talk to a girl, you hit her up in the DMs or whatever, and she replies to you once every 3 days. You know that's energy. It's what she's giving you. So you know that she ain't feeling me like that. So what's gonna happen? I ain't gonna be there. If I'm talking to a girl on the road and I meet her for the first time, I start saying, hey, how you doing? You good? She's like, yeah, I'm all right. But you can see that in her body language, she might be a little bit distant. You know what I mean? Like, you ask for the number, she's starting giving you an excuse about how her, she ain't got no phone now. She ain't got a phone, or she lost her phone. Then you already know she's not really on it. And it's okay to be like, you know what? I appreciate you. No, and walk away. You got to read the energy. I'm not waiting, me personally, 4 weeks to find out. I'm not waiting 4 weeks. I'm not trying to break them walls to find out in 4 weeks. I'm not trying to. For me, if that energy ain't off the rip, I don't want it. I'm not trying to break down the walls. But now, of course, you've gone on the show, which is called Married at First Sight. So I do understand that you've married, right? But it's, and I do get that. But again, I'm really not trying to break down all these walls. You know what I mean? I'm really not trying to break all these walls that Kirsten has. And I don't like being compared to your daddy, because your dad didn't even stay with your mom, bro. Like, no, let's not try to put me in the same category as your dad. Like, he didn't stay with your moms. Like, stop making him the Superman and then trying to make me match the bar. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, relax. Relax. Just take it easy. You know what I mean? But, my top general is in the room now, so he can give us his say and let us know what his thoughts are. General, Deacon, boss.
Well, look, I don't really think there's much left for me to say, because, between the apology from Seaway, which is just, it just warms my heart to hear. And, JR was tiptoeing and tap dancing, but sounds like he agreed to, Crystal, I didn't hear much pushback from her either. And Trey pretty much said everything else but saying I was right. So, it just, we just got to take the wins when we take the wins, because it looks like a win. But, look, I'm not saying Kirsten is perfect. But I think somebody's slip is showing. And look, I get it that, is he now reacting because he's feeling rejected? Well, he needs to pick a lane, right? So either you're going to tell her, you know what, I'm not feeling like I'm getting what I need, and move on, or you're going to play this game where 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Now, what I will say is she tried her best to be nice to the brother. She tried, and Dr. P and her fine self dragged him. She dragged him, and I don't think that was necessarily right, you know. And he did do a great job of being resilient in that moment, because he could have been defensive and he could have lashed out and said, well, what about her and this, that, and the third? But he just sat there and he listened. So I think that part in that scene was good. Everything else, when old boy slammed that laptop down, when she was trying to give him a little air kiss via FaceTime, that's not the right way. And I think, look, there's double standards for a reason, right? You know, like in relationships, if both of us is petty, if both of us is just in our feminine bag, we're not going to move. We're gonna actually digress. So just because she was rude last week, 2 weeks ago, doesn't give you the license to now go ahead and be rude this week, right? You know, especially if she is making movement, you know, in relationships, especially one like this, you have to celebrate progress. It's a very, different process. So we have to celebrate the progress. And if I keep going back to what you did and what you didn't do, I have to recognize the progress. And then again, when they had their little moment, the rope tying, when he was tying that rope around her, like, here we go around the mulberry bush, which was awkward and cringe. But, you know, she went along with it and she was like gleefully kind of like, you know, let's give this a go. Then they were laying in the bed and here we go talking. Here we go with the talking. And that's what I told y'all weeks ago. Shh. Why is he now he want to talk about she's got feathers, they got all this little, you know, fun stuff to play with, and you want to talk about, well, I just need more support. No, bro, support me in another way. Like, let's just cut all this talking out. You're gonna talk yourself right out of the drawers, and that's where I have a problem. It's like, know the time and season. You know, then he told her, get out my face, get out my face. Bro, we cannot sanction that. I'm sorry.
Yes, Crystal, go for it.
I am hearing you, and you're right about. That was the first thing I mentioned was that laundry and the rope tying. Come on, Shaq. But at the same time, I think she's big ball of contradiction too. Like, if she wanted this man to be this masculine and take charge person, then why she got to make him wait for the kiss? Why she got to do all this pushback in the beginning? If that's what she wanted to show, that I want you to be a strong masculine man, then don't have all this pushback. And so I think she's a big ball of contradiction, and he doesn't know how to move. So yeah. And yeah, that's it for now. Because and also he just has a slick mouth too. Come on now. So she doesn't know. It's a difference between a strong masculine man and a man that's going to make you feel safe and secure and you can trust to her. I mean, yeah. And he's giving her the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she simply wasn't ready to be intimate because she didn't find him attractive for a long spell. All right. So it isn't just like this is coming out of nowhere. Eventually, you know, people have different tolerances for being rejected, right? And to be fair, he has given a lot of grace. And if she is starting to warm up to him slightly, are we saying that this is going to lead to her finding him attractive? We're not even saying that. Like, we've pretty much concluded that it's a wrap in terms of the attraction. They've been together for quite a long time now. So he can be more masculine. He could move all the furniture and pick up all the heavy boxes and all the other stuff that she thinks for that moment he looks like a man because he's doing a manly thing for her, you know, an act of service. But ultimately, it's not going to change her overall perception of him. So, you know, why is he going to even change himself for someone that's not going to be around in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Trey, you any thoughts? Before he's setting himself up again. Sean, you any additional thoughts?
Yeah, I think like this is what I heard from her, and you know, in the conversation when she was trying to dissect what masculinity meant, and I for certainly think she romanticizes her dad in terms of the and also it's a little bit of folklore in there too, because I don't think it's always connected with reality, but you know that I've heard women say that. So I'm not saying, oh, because women say it, it means it's right, but it's not that uncommon to hear a woman say, oh, I want a man that's able to do a little bit of manual labor, or she mentioned she liked when he was, you know, moving boxes and helping around things. And then I think on the after party, she also mentioned like there was a time when she was coming home with the groceries, and I think he was in the gym or something, and he was like, okay, you know, like, okay, and just let her schlep the groceries up by herself. Like, bro, you have got to do better. And yeah, I understand his background and being brought up in a home with his mom, but I don't understand, like, who lifted the groceries? Didn't you help your mother? Like, I just think like his self-awareness is off. And it's the same thing with the kiss when she was trying to, you know, be a little affectionate with him when he was away. You know, he slammed down the laptop. Well, not slammed it, I'm being extra, but he closed the laptop on her, and then she called him back, and he was like, yeah. Click. yeah, with all that, you know. So I think he just doesn't have an awareness when it comes to how he comes off, and he can be very dismissive. And then you mix that with he's always talking about, you know, giving her these life lectures, all those things. You know, we gotta have to call him out on some of that stuff. It's like at a certain point, yeah, he might be tired, but that doesn't mean you get to be a jerk either, right? You know, like, and it goes back to that old saying when we say like, you might be right, but the way you're going about it is wrong. And I think he also has issues in terms of how he communicates and getting his point across without being snarky or, you know, having a little twist to try to like jab her back because now he's upset. I think he really does have to work on the way that he communicates as well. And there's also room for Kirsten, to grow up a little bit and expand her horizons and also be more communicative.
Definitely hear you on that. Trey, you were going to say, sorry, and I didn't get to hear your voice. Go for it, Cap.
Yeah, I think my internet is acting crazy. Can y'all hear me correctly? Yeah, no, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, bro.
Okay, because it's something crazy on my end. Yeah, he needs to just call it quits. I would have been said deuces on week 2, like you Coach O. It's time to go. But he's steady trying to hang in this for some odd reason. He's been challenged on his behaviors. He's been challenged on seemingly his sexuality, and he's been challenged now is if he's even a man or not. So it's like, okay, how much more of this he's going to take? Who knows? But it seems like there's just too many issues from both sides with Kirsten and Shaq for them to overcome them. It's too much is piling up now. It's just too much. And Shaq, yeah, he's really acting like he's out of it. Like the whole him taking the trip situation. I do believe when we watched the after show that Kirsten was telling the truth. He kind of misrepresented the truth in that situation. You know, she kind of invited herself to go. He was non-committal, almost like he didn't want her to come in the first place. So you got that going on, and yeah, it's too much is happening between them, and it's too much that we're not even getting the answers to. Like I'm really having questions about Kirsten's father. Like I wish we would have met this guy, at least get some type of understanding of what she's basing her criteria off of. I really want to meet this guy now. So, but I don't. This book, we got 2 weeks left. I don't think that's going to happen. It seems like next week we're going to get that they finally hooked up. I saw the preview. I don't even like the way Shaq told it. I was just like, we finally did it. I'm like, oh my God, bro. Just no. Yeah. Sean, I don't know if Sean is completely right, but he made some strong points. I give you that. But you're still missing the glaring picture that's Kirsten. She's still a big red flag to me out of this whole situation. It wouldn't matter if Shaq was Eris or any other dude, or if Shaq was Sean. I think we'd still be looking at the same situation going on here. It might be handled differently. It might be handled better, but I don't think it'll look any different. There's some issues going on there. Some issues.
Appreciate. Thank you, Trey. Ludwin, what's your thoughts?
Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me? I'm using my little headphones so I can be clear. You guys made a lot of points. They're nice. I think you're being extremely nice. But we're gonna call it what it is. Shaq has been sassy from the beginning, and with the fact that she took so long to give him play, now he's in petty mode, and it's not a good look on TV, especially when you were a black man on top of that. And for that question of his masculinity to come out this week, I was happy with the question because it was time for her to really say how she really sees him. Because ain't no way that if you're coming off a certain type of energy with me, that I'm not going to follow along since the beginning. So I believe this is my personal opinion. I believe Shaq stays on this one because he ain't got no money and he needs a TV money. Because he could have said, I'm gone, if he really, really didn't need the money. Because remember, he let a job go that could have paid him more money. So if he stays longer, knowing this girl barely give him attention for the first 3-4 weeks on here on TV, he stays because of the money. Because any one of you men would not last this long if someone's not that interested in you. Y'all know this. Y'all know this. If someone's not giving you place, it's not giving you that energy feedback back, you're not staying that long. So he's now getting to the point where he's feeling irritated that this girl who's been playing in my face, knowing she don't like me all this time, and now she's starting to like me, but at this point he's probably given up mentally, but he's just staying here just to go along, to play along. And another thing too, if you want me to go on the trip with you, don't make it suggestive. Be more directive, right? Because if you were, hey, I'm going to Las Vegas, I need you to come with me. Let's book the tickets together. I don't think none of that was discussed. Because if you really want me to go with you, you would have booked my own transportation up there with you. You would have had the discussion. Okay, when are you working? What are your expectations for next week or the 2 weeks from this trip? We will be planning the whole thing if you really want me to go with you. So the fact that he was being passive aggressive later and trying to make her feel bad for not going and then telling her that she was running the streets, that's super petty. That's why she doesn't feel like you're masculine, because you're not being direct with how you feel. That's one. And you're not being direct with what you want. That's two. And then want her to read your mind that you wanted her to go, but you're not saying it. That's another two. And then come back and try to manipulate her for not going when you are not being straightforward. In any relationship, that's not cool. Because now you being at the point where it's becoming sassy versus what when you could have just been direct and say, hey babe, I have this trip coming up. I want you to support me and I want you to be there. Let's book this flight. Let's book this hotel together. You know, this is the plan. This is the agenda for the week that I'm going to be there, or the weekend I'm going to be there. Let's go together. And it's these small things that will make such a big difference, because when you think of what she sees as a masculine, is someone that takes charge. I think what she said is tough as well, when she was describing her dad. So in someone that wants to show up as someone that is dominant, or that likes to take more of an assertive approach, he hasn't shown that as much throughout this whole thing. And I remember when they had that married couple over, that was one thing that they made sure to tell him, to get more assertive and or be more aggressive in the relationship. I remember that conversation. So since then, I haven't seen much of a progress per se for him to show that assertiveness about him, and I think that's where they have fallen short. But realistically, I don't think he would have stayed this long unless like he doesn't see the reason for him to still get paid from the show. Because he complains a lot about he's in school, he's doing this, doing that, and you know, like money's tight. Because who was just last week complaining about who house I'm gonna buy with what money? He was freaking out over future things you're supposed to do in a marriage anyway. He's thinking about all these debts he got to pay, student loans and all of that. He needs money. That's why he was more freaking out about all these things that she's looking forward to, having children, building a family together. I always have an issue with men under 35 trying to get married, because they're not ready. They're not ready here. They're not ready here, and not ready here. And he's what, 31? He's not ready. That's it.
Thank you, Ludo, for the hot take. We appreciate you. I just like to add that, you know, I think this is quite interesting between Kirsten and Shaq, because you know, I think I see both of their points, especially with the traveling away, right? Because I think he's a bit more passive aggressive. He's not as assertive with his communicational style. So when she said she was going to come with him, that was it. It's done. Once she said she's going to come with him, it's done. I don't need to say anything else. I don't need to add anything else. And then when she backs out, because it was a back out, that's what happened. She backed out and changed her mind. Instead of him saying at the time, hey, I'm really hurt by the fact that, you know, you backed out. I really wanted to have you support me, and I really wanted you to be there. He turned it into a passive aggressive moment. Do you know what I mean? Later on. So, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to communicational style, that learning how to be learning how to be learning how to be more assertive in your communicational style is very much important, so you can let people know how you feel. It's a bit like Jasmine. She got passive aggressive communication styles. She harbors things and then she acts out rather than telling you what's actually happening to her. And so I see the same thing with Shaq, that, you know, instead of just saying to her at the time, I'm actually hurt by what happened, a fear of vulnerability in that moment, he then turned it into a passive aggressive aspect, where he then was like, well, I'm going to show you how I feel. And that is where there's an issue for Shaq. I'm going to show you how I feel now. So yes, now we're on the laptop and we're talking. Yeah, what you want to, if you, and I can guarantee in his head what he's thinking is, if you really cared, you'd have been here. because you said you was going to be here. So when you now tell me, and this is the piss take, I'll be real with you as well. I can understand where it's coming from. This is the piss take. You now told me that you're now running to do errands and create a whole party for your fam. You're taking a piss. You don't respect me. That's how his mind is going to think. Because again, that's not necessarily what's happened. There's a nuance here. There's a greater story here where, you know what, maybe it came last minute. You know what I mean? And it's a last minute thing. And whilst you already stayed home, this has happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, you stayed at home, you didn't go with him. Your family reached out to you whilst you were at home and said, we're going to have a barbecue. You've now organized it, right? So in that aspect, from the other person's party perspective, it's looking like you're taking a piss out of me. You really are, because you decided not, you backed out, you stayed home, and now it looks like you stayed home to have a whole family barbecue without me. So you don't want me at your, you've been pushing me away from not getting close to your family. So now you've hosted a whole barbecue as well without me and backed out of a situation. It's gonna look some way. I'm not saying exactly is that way, but I'm saying it's gonna look that way. And if you're passive aggressive in the way that you feel, rather than being assertive in your communication, I'm gonna lock off the laptop because I'm passive aggressive. You're gonna air kiss me, but you ain't address the actual issue. So I'm not gonna air kiss you back. You're going to get later on, you're going to try and kiss me. What he's really trying to do is say to her is, you've hurt me and you've hurt my feelings. And I feel like you don't actually care about my feelings. Because up until that point, and something I've noticed about Kirsten is, and she agreed to it, she's the same as Jasmine. She harbors things and doesn't say exactly what she feels. How many times are you telling us on After Dark how you feel, but not telling Shaq? And here's my other person I've got to call out. I got to call out Keisha, okay, on this After Dark, okay, because she be supporting some bullshit, okay? Excuse my French, excuse my language, but she be supporting some bullshit. When Kirsten's moving mad, she'd be like, literally, the way the conversation about the masculinity thing, she literally went past it so quickly. Oh, the masculine thing, oh, okay, yeah, girl. When Shaq had done something, we need to call Shaq out. Wait, baby, I need you to hold them both accountable because you ain't helping her at this moment, baby. She's been in this space for a very long time where she can't communicate either, darling. Hold her to account. Last time you tried to hold her to account, she started crying, and that ended the accountability. So we couldn't even hold her accountable. So it's like, Keisha, I need you, baby. Okay, baby. Let me enter my feminine, baby. Okay, all right. But I need you to hold her accountable a little bit. So I'm saying that I also see his point of view. I'm saying that he's wrong for his passive-aggressive communication. He needs to be assertive in it by stating how he feels so he doesn't think it out, so he doesn't act it out, because now that becomes detrimental to that relationship. So if you're deciding to stay, you're going to have to work on that aspect of communication. We can't have you being in a passive-aggressive place because it ain't helping nothing. But there ain't no way we're going to let Kirsten go out and be like, you going on a barbecue for your family ain't going to look some way towards the other partner and then not even address it and say, look, I know how it looks. I probably see how it goes. My bad. None of that. None of that. Just leave it as it is and let it play out. Okay, cool. Yeah, go for it, Crystal.
That I totally agree with you. You could tell in that laptop that he was pissed. And I remember before the wedding, he said, I want that woman on my arm. I want that person that shows that he has that she has my back. He wanted that. He wanted a woman to attend these events with him. That and we can say how whatever we think about that, but that's something that he wanted. And the fact that she backed out of that, he didn't like that. And I agree with you. It did sound like it was just a last minute thing, but she was the one that said, oh, maybe I'll come along with you. And then for her to say, oh no, I can't, but come on. So I both think that they're not communicating right. And then he gets in this, he starts talking reckless and saying all kinds of stuff, but the way she's moving ain't right. And she get very vocal around other people, just like Jasmine, but she won't say it to him, because she should have said, I want a man that will do these things for me. I want this type of guy. She didn't. He didn't know how. He's not knowing how to move. So yeah, I agree. He was pissed off in that laptop. You could tell.
Go for it, Sean.
Yeah. I don't know. And, I guess I can't, just like we're saying, we need to be careful about how we define masculinity and all this other stuff. But for me, I just don't understand why he's so obsessed with her coming to all these work things and work trips. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. When I went on work trips, when I was married, I was glad to go. And it wasn't because I was unhappy. It was like, you want to focus. You want to just get things done that you need to get done. It's a couple of days. He pretty much also told her, like, hey, yeah, you can go there and hang out with your friends. So she's going to be sitting around twiddling her thumbs while he's doing whatever he's doing. I don't get the big deal. For me, again, I'm just speaking for my own self. Maybe other people get it. I don't. But as a man, I don't need you there for that. Now, if there's something big going on in my life, if there's like a work holiday event or something like that where other people's families are going to be there, yes, I'm going to want my wife by my side. But if I'm going on a work trip to recruit people for the college that I work for, I don't need my wife there to prop me up and, oh, here's my wife, here's my wife, here's my wife. No, like I just don't get why that's so important. For me, it just doesn't. And then he keeps saying, I just want her there to support me. Come on, like, bro, stand on your own. And I think that's where masculinity comes to play, because you have to be, just stand firm. Like, hey, look, bro, this is a job. Do your job. Do what you need to do. Get in and get out. Come back home. She even asked him, when do you come back home? Oh, I don't know. I don't know when I'm leaving. Whenever I'm going to get up. She was actually saying, I'm looking forward to you coming home. I missed you in the bed last night. He's busy hemming and hawing about whatever. So I think at the end of the day, like, look, he needs to stand on his own. Like, and sometimes, yes, can that come off to a certain woman as feminine? Yeah, because it looks like you just can't, you always need to be supported and propped up. And the expectation for us as men is that we can hold our own and that we're not going to crumble, if our wife says, oh, I can't come with you. And it's not to say you can't say, oh, I would have loved for you to come, or I would have liked for you to come. Yes, I get that. But don't fall to pieces. Don't fall into a petty fit, slamming down laptops and turning away kisses. I think that just, there's certain things that we got to be better than. That's what I think.
Question to the panel: is it obsession? Do you feel like in the sessions? Go for it, Trey. You can answer it.
I was going to say I actually mostly agree with Sean about him wanting her to come with him all the time, and okay, why? But what I was going to say, at least from his standpoint, I guess the reason why he's asking, or the reason why he keeps coming up, he is trying to see if she's going to support of anything that he does, because so far she really hasn't shown that. She really hasn't. She ought to had it been course to get there, come or whatever, but actually, like, you, baby, I want to come and support you. She's never done that. But I still agree with Sean. Like, well, why are you making a big deal about it? You're supposed to be going there to work anyway. Get your work done. You ain't got time to worry about all that. I mean, if you want to come along, that's cool, but you're supposed to go there for work. But like I said, I do kind of get it. He's using it as a litmus test. Like, okay, what type of support is she going to show, if any? So far, it hasn't really been much. I mean, if there is someone pointed out, like, where has she truly shown Shaq supporting something? It's a question.
Yeah. Go for it, Lydia. Go for it.
I want to pose a question too, like, where has he shown support to her job? Because we went, what, how many weeks before we had a whole house tour to find out what she did with her job? We never seen him ask questions about her career. Come on, let's not do that. Let's not do that, Trey.
Can I speak? Okay. So she's a real estate agent. He is a recruiting. I can't remember. Earlier, I gave the title, but
Director of
to
recruiting.
him, to him, that's where he. It's not a love language, but it's where he finds support. That's how she can. That's where he finds the love and support. That's like she's got my back. She's interested in what I do, just like for her, it's a man moving boxes. So it's something different. To her, that doesn't speak to her. Going to her real estate, they're going to her open house may not speak to her as much as him having somebody to support him on his job speaks to her, speaks to him. So it's a difference in what she's looking for, what to that shows that you support me, that you love me, and that you're interested in what I do. That's what it is. I hear to Sean, it's Sean and his relationship was different than this. This is a new situation. If they were married for years, she probably wouldn't be going to the events all the time. Maybe two events a year, maybe Christmas and like a summer picnic or whatever. But at this point, he wants to see, and he even said this before the wedding. He said, I want somebody that can support me in what I do. So that was one of his litmus tests. That's what he's interested in. That's the type of woman he wants. She wants somebody that's going to move boxes and take her places and whatever. So she don't care about that. She don't care. So that's not what she's interested in. So it's not going to be all the time, but right now in this 6 weeks, that's what he would like. He would like for her to even at least feel like you're interested in what I do. That's it. For her, find a house, find an apartment, do those things. That's not what she's interested in. That's what I'm saying. Now, he did go by the house, but that's not what she cares about. So it's just a difference. It's not a love language, but maybe Kojo, you can explain. That's how they find support and love. That's it.
Kojo, can you repeat that question you asked before to the whole panel?
Yeah. It was whether we felt like him wanting her to come along to the work dues or work job or whatever work thing he's got going on is obsessive.
Okay, so I'll answer the question. No, it's not obsessive. To me, Crystal.
I wouldn't go as far to say obsessive, but I would say that I would say the way those boys reacted when he showed them his wife, I think you want that feeling of having her around when he goes out. So it's kind of like having a trophy wife, and so he liked that feeling that he gets when he's like, okay, I have a pretty woman around. But it's also given that he's not used to having pretty women as well with him. So maybe that's why he's so fixated of having the girl go, the woman be with him everywhere he goes in his public settings. I mean, it's great to bring your partner to, public settings as well, where you are being decorated or you are being highlighted for something. But it seems like he just want her to be at any type of atmosphere outside of the house or outside of the city. And that could be an age thing, the same way Sean doesn't feel like he needs to do so. Maybe, he's 31, he's still young. He wants to have that trophy, around his arm to show around, to showcase. I don't know. It may be like a source of insecurity as well, where he feel like maybe he's not where he wants to be in his career. So maybe with having the wife on his arm, kind of give a little bit boost. I do hear in certain circles for career development or um, yeah, for career development, a lot of times having a wife gives you that extra boost to get in different rooms, to get certain contacts, to get different networking opportunities as well. I do hear by having a wife with you, it does help you in your career long term wise, because they sense that sense of security with that man. So a lot of times other men that have bigger pockets, they can invite you in certain groups that allow you to have certain opportunities to further your life. So that could be another reason why he wants her to be around for those opportunities. That's my viewpoint.
Yeah, Jay, I'll go for it.
Yeah, I don't think it's obsessive. I think when you're in a relationship with someone that you like and they like you, you know, they would want to come and spend time with you. They would want to go wherever you're going. And Kirsten has said numerous times recently that she's very big on quality time. She likes the quality time that they spend together. So if you like the quality time, and why aren't you going on this trip with him to spend more quality time with him when he's finished his seminars or whatever he's doing? You could be spending quality time there in another city. So I just think it's a simple case of, she wasn't feeling that beginning, as we've established. And now it's getting to the point where anything that he wants to do, she's got something to say about it. And then when she wants to come on to him or try and give him signals, he's shutting it down. And that starts to get worse as the relationship continues. So, he's in a situation where, he probably is going to have to either adapt to who she wants him to be, which I don't think is going to be possible because he's not going to be being himself. And, doing all that for someone who still isn't entirely into you, like, that's a huge sacrifice to make. And I don't think he's asking her to change anything about herself, other than, she's really feeling him, then, she would have let him know before. Now, I just think it's too late. And like I said a few weeks ago, I think it's because she knows that the deadline's looming for decision day. And, if you don't want to be on your man's arm when he's at work or whatever, that's cool. But know that decision day is coming and there will be events coming up. You've got a taste of who he is. And he's got a taste of who she is. And it just doesn't seem to be meshing. So, yeah, don't change who you are, because, you've given it a good try, but I don't see this couple working. Not at all. So to answer the question, it's not obsessive. I don't think he's banged on about it enough for it to become an obsession. I don't think he's even got frustrated to the point where he's like, look, you never come to work with me. He hasn't said that. So it's not obsessive in my opinion.
Sean, you want to respond? Go for it, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it's obsessive. I think it's just overly needy. And I think that, it's a double standard. But, I think that his expectation for her to be at all these events and travel might just be a little unrealistic in the early stages of their marriage. And if he really wants her to do something, sometimes you have to appeal to the person. And I think that's something that we need to learn in relationships too, right? If there's something that I want from you, then I have to go about asking it the right way. And I think for him, he's like, I asked you once and that's it. Now come on and go. But no, if it's that important to me and it's maybe not something that's important to you, then I need to do a better job, especially if we don't know each other, why, and explain and let you know why I think it's important for me to go. I still don't get why a recruiting event, you need your wife by your side, because at a recruiting event that's geared towards getting college students into your university, why you need a wife by you, I don't know why that's an important asset and going to add value to you recruiting students to your university. Again, but hey, what do I know? I don't do recruiting for a university. So maybe I'm missing a distinct point in that. But I do think it's needy. And I also think that, again, to justify my point or reiterate my point, is you have to explain it to somebody. And look, I mean, yes, do I find Kirsten attractive? For sure. And yes, do I do a little bit of pandering? And yes, do I flirt across the internet waves? But am I silly enough to deceive myself that she's thinking about me? Come on, guys. Like, we've been doing this for too long. So don't call my judgment into question because I think Kirsten is attractive. I'm telling you my opinion about Shaq. And this is how I feel. And you can feel differently and everybody can disagree. And I don't have a problem with that. We can go back to back and toe to toe and state our different points, but don't try to discredit what I'm saying because I find her to be attractive. I think that's a little silly at a certain point. You know, we can joke about it, but when you start seriously questioning my judgment, like, oh, you just want to get at her. Come on, seriously. Like, I think too highly of myself to truly change the way I feel to try to get at some woman on Lifetime in Nashville, Tennessee, no less. So, yeah, I just want to make that disclaimer so we can just cut that narrative.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you.
What's wrong with Nashville, Tennessee?
Because I'm in New Jersey. Because I'm in New Jersey.
Oh man, but I mean, you know, I mean, this situation. I personally don't think it's obsessive. Do I think it's needy? It can be from a perspective, depending on what perspective you're coming from, right? Because if you have a lot of independence, this is going to look like it's needy. If you're somebody who has always been on their own and doing things by themselves, this will look needy. But I think the reality is, if he was a sportsman and he was just going to play ball, would we be questioning her, saying that she didn't want to go watch his games? I think we'd all be looking at her like, you don't want to travel with him and go watch his games? Like, if he invites you to come and watch his game, would you not question her? So you're not, how supportive are you really? We'd all be asking, how supportive is she? Now, of course, he's not a baller. We know that. But what I'm saying is, if he's asked you, if you said you're going to come along to his job, the key thing that we're trying to define here is, what does it mean to the other person when you come along? It means support. And that's what I'm saying about language is key again, because if he doesn't explain this in a language, it's going to be missed. He should have explained and said, hey, look, do you know what? I would love for you, when she said you're going to come along, and then when she backed out, that's when you'd be like, it feels like you're not supporting me in this moment. I don't necessarily mean that you're not supportive, but in this moment, it feels like you're not supporting me. And it hurts. Because the reality of the situation is, oftentimes when people want the support like this, like she said, she wants quality time, right? He went on a trip before, and, well, less said about that trip that he went on, because it didn't go down too well last time. Do you know what I mean? But, he just has to just let her know by assertively, like, hey, what it means for him when she comes along, rather than reacting and doing laptop shutdowns. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, because it's a big thing for some people, especially if your love language is quality time. The person supporting you is A1. It's really important. You know what I mean? If I'm doing YouTube, listen, I told you about this situation with one of my ex-partners, blood. Didn't watch any of my videos, never commented on it, never retweeted it. And one of her own friends called her out about it. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Like, someone from another perspective, someone might see it as needy, and I would understand. But for me personally, that shows me that you support my thing. I'm not asking you to watch every single video. I don't need it. I don't need to watch every single video. That's nuts. I don't expect you guys to watch every single video. So it'd be nuts of me to expect my partner to watch every single video. But you are aware of what I'm doing. You're aware of what I'm about. You're aware of where I'm, what kind of goals I'm going for. That's what I'm asking for. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you said you were gonna go, it can't have been that needy when you were saying you were gonna go. You know what I mean? And then you backed out. So for me personally, it's all about, what does it actually mean to that person? Does it mean support? If it means support, then that's what needs to be communicated ahead of time. And I don't think that was communicated. by the end of the episode. So, you know, that needs to be cleared up as well. He's opening mic. Before you go, Trey, I think Crystal's going to go, and then you can go, Trey. We're going to go, Crystal?
I'm good.
No?
I agree with you.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm good. Mm-mm.
Okay, Trey, go for it. Trey, bro.
No, I was just thinking, like, I'm still on the fence about if it's needy or not. I can see where some of the argument for it is, like, yeah, it's the way he's coming off. It's like, bro, you way too in your feelings. You back talking, you getting snappy with her, being real sassy. It's like, okay, but this is something that he said in the beginning that he needed from his partner. He mentioned this in the beginning, what he needed. She's not providing it. You know, so this is what happens. He's all in his feelings, feeling some type of way about it. Now, I think the thing that we're really arguing about is how he deals with it, how he speaks to her. You know, after he feels some type of way, it's probably not proper. It's coming off. Yeah, it's coming off super soft. It's like, bruh, super soft. Yes, Crystal.
Well, I have a question. Now I do have something to say, Trey, because a couple weeks ago, she wanted the quality time, and we were all up in arms because she didn't want the man, and then he was going out and he was spending all these times away from the house and at these events without her, and she was all upset about being at the house alone. So now he's gone out by himself, and now it's just a big ball of contradiction. So I remember a couple weeks ago he was doing that, and we were like, well, what's he doing at these work events? So I remember that. So he was doing this by himself. I just don't see it as needy because he wasn't speaking. So
Shaq,
now that he, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, listen, let's just get to the point. Shaq is a crybaby. He is what it is, and Kirsten is flip-floppy. She's a flip-floppy chick. One week she feel this way, next week she want to feel this way, next week she gonna feel differently. But listen, she's flip-floppy. You can't trust a person like that when they just change from week to week on you. You can't trust that. You're going to be confused. As you said, Crystal, a ball of contradictions. She's contradicting herself all the time. And Shaq, yeah, he's a little soft. Yeah, okay, you know, we be beating around the bush. Yes, he's soft. Soft as baby poo-poo. It still doesn't mean he's incorrect about Kirsten. Doesn't mean that. It's just what we're really getting at him about is how he deals with her. Like it's improper. Like it's improper. Now me, yeah, most of us we went deuces on Kirsten a couple weeks ago. Sean would probably still stick in there. I understand, bro. Do what you do. But nah, he's sticking in this mess. We kind of all know why. You know what I'm saying? They all here because they just don't want to get fined. It is what it is at the end of the day. So they're going to stick with this. We're going to go through this song and dance. We're going to go to the end. Somebody going to try to say, no, I'm not going to stick with this. I could already see Shaq going, you know what? I went through 8 weeks. You disrespected me, calling me out of my manhood, making a big production out of everything. I can see it. It's kind of building up to that. We all looking at this. Shaq is about to make a big production. When it comes to decision day, he's going to have this huge speech. And he's going to try to make himself like, oh, I was the one being treated wrong. His head.
Well, while Trey's internet is surfacing, I just want to call out that I think these are two separate instances. And, you know, as much as I can see that in the past, Kirsten has moved the goalposts, especially when it came to the kiss on the wedding day and furthermore. But I think these are two different instances, right? You know, her complaint from him previously was that he stays at work too late and he's not home. So they don't get a chance to catch up. And by the time he gets home, she's sleeping. This is now him wanting her to join him on a work trip and her not going. So, yeah, I'm not sure how that's making her move the goalpost, or her being inconsistent, because he was staying out these hours with his mentees and doing other events and so on and so forth. And now he's going on another work trip. So his work is a central part of who he is. So again, I think similar to Gina, he's very wrapped up in his work, and that can cause some issues in their particular relationship. And he's wanting her to support that. Now, again, I don't think it's anything wrong with him wanting to have the support. Do I feel, for me, it's needy? That's my opinion. Again, it's my opinion. That's how I think. I think it's a bit needy for him to constantly need her to be up underneath him like that. But, you know, it's what he needs. So I feel like he needs to do a better job of explaining that and helping her to connect with why it's so important for her to be at certain events and exactly what he's looking for from her. He needs to be clear and to the point, and not petty and retaliatory when he's feeling like he's not getting what he wants.
Trey, you want to finish off your point? Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, I think Kirsten's trying to throw some hits on me from Tennessee or something. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the camera off for a second because it does seem to be working better. I would just get to the point. Like, it's all a big charade. It's all a big charade. I can see how this is about to turn out. For some odd reason, even though we know she don't like this guy, Kirsten is probably going to say yes, and she shouldn't, and she should not. And yet, Shaq is the one who's going to have this big production. He's going to make this big speech. He's going to go, this is what you did to me. You made me feel this way, and I can't abide by that, blah, 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 blah. I can see it coming all the way. That's all.
I'm hearing you, I'm hearing you. Yes, who opened the mic? Sorry.
That was me.
Go for it,
Listen, I think one of the major factors here is he still hasn't met the family. All right. If she's not comfortable enough, even at this point, to introduce him to the family, introduce him to the pops, who she seems to have such an affinity for and holds in such high regards, then the writing's on the wall. Like, we're getting into, okay, he's going to work and all these other things. Listen, he's working to obviously keep his thing going, his career going or whatnot. But where there's opportunities for them to spend time together, this is exactly what she was complaining about. Like Crystal said, when he was going out, staying out without her because of work functions and things like that, she was saying that, she had a problem with it. So if now, she has the opportunity to go on a trip with him, then, she could join him, but she obviously doesn't want to do that because of the way he asked, or there was no planning as far as she was concerned, which is why she didn't want to go. So I do think there is a flip-flop. I think it's consistently been she's not attracted to him, and then now it's flipped to the other side where there may be things I like about him, but there are very few, and it's not enough to convince him anyway that she's really into him that much. But if she was into him, she wouldn't mind going places. When he went to check out the property that she went to, he didn't mind. When he was looking through the email brochure or whatever that was, he didn't mind doing that for her, and she seemed to enjoy all of that as well. So the attraction thing may be starting to turn slightly, but he's been with her long enough. He knows that it's not in the ways that he's expecting it to be, and and it's definitely probably not the way that he expected the marriage to go from when they met to where they are now. So you know, he's checking out, and I think if we're honest, most people have different tolerance levels, yes, but there will come a point where you start to say, okay, you know what? How does she really come across to me? When she expresses how she feels about me, is there something that I have to do in order to get her to feel a certain way? And if I don't do those things, then she doesn't respect me or she doesn't like me. You know, if you start seeing that type of stuff, then eventually you're going to be like, nah, it's not going to work. And I think he would love to show her off, you know, but the relationship hasn't gone according to the way he probably expected it. And she's not attracted to him from the get-go. And, you know, it's just one of them things. This relationship's not gonna say yes on decision day. I'm quite sure of that. Like, there's no reason why she would say yes, because the relationship, even for what she wants, isn't there. So why should she say yes? And like I said, he's already checking out now, so not gonna work.
Yeah, man. Listen, I hear you. So, I mean, personally, again, with Kirsten and Shaq situation, yeah, I mean, listen, quality time is quality time. You know, of course, you don't want to be going there and just him working, but so you know, this is where the compromise comes in, the conversation comes in. If she feels that going to that work do is too much, she can suggest and say, hey, look, I'd love to come with you, but you know what? Is there anything we can do after? Like in the evening times where there's downtime, can we plan something? Can we get something done? Right. So this is a part of it. What she was looking for, and again, I think this goes back to her dad issues. What she's looking for is him to plan the whole thing. You plan from the moment you got there, plan this there, plan everything. You set up dates, you set up this, you set up this, you set up this. And sometimes, I mean, that's not the energy I get from him. You know what I mean? That he's going to plan every single detail from the situation. It sounds like Kirsten has had to do that for her whole family. And unfortunately, she doesn't want to. No, unfortunately, I would say, you know, in a relationship, she don't want to be in that position at all. It sounds like she's been overworked in her own family, and now she's looking for a man that will do that entirety of planning every single thing, which is cool. If that's what you want, that's not a problem. Again, it needs to be communicated in a particular way to make the other person understand. Because sometimes the other person looks at it as, you know what, you're just taking a piss out of me. You're just really just saying, you know, what do you mean? Like, I've invited you, you've said you're going to come along. When really and truly, she's also passive aggressive in her communication as well, because she fails to say things. So we got two passive aggressive communicators who don't know how to really assert themselves in a conversation by telling the other person how they actually feel and what they're actually thinking. And so it comes out in behaviors, right? It comes out in behaviors. So in this situation, you know, because it was her who planned the family barbecue, right? I think they asked her to plan it. Did they ask her to plan it as well? So she has got planning skills. And I think this has always been the case, that she had to, because, and again, this is why I said how great is a father, because it seems like it's fallen on her neck to be the planner for this family. Okay, all right, she's been taking a daddy role for her family at this point. He gonna beat me up if he sees me if I keep talking about his daddy. But you know, it seems like she's taking on the role of being the planner, and unfortunately, there might have been an overusage of her in that family, which means now in the relationship she wants to rest, but that needs to be communicated, because that might not make sense to somebody else looking from another perspective who also is coming from a place. Because we know Shaq's a planner. Oh, we know Shaq's a planner. Shaq is a planner. That is a guaranteed. Shaq is an absolute planner. When she went to the family and had a sit down with the family last week, they told her, "Oh no, he can plan, baby. Okay, he'd be planning events. He'd be bringing family together. So he can plan." But again, it's important, again, once more, that you're communicating that. If that's what you want, Kirsten, too, you need that from him, that he plans these things. Communicate that to him, too. You know what I mean? Don't come and tell us an after party that's what you want. Because it's been like the third or fourth time that it's either after party or your friends and having to have Nicole slip notes underneath the door to let a brother know where you actually stand. It's passive aggressive, right? And it's annoying. And it's not cute and it's not attractive. So if we're talking about him being not masculine, I'm saying this ain't the feminine either. This ain't the feminine either. You're consistently having to use other people, other methods to try and get this information to me. You're not helping my relationship. You're not helping our relationship. So we got two people here who are struggling to assertively communicate because they were deprived of that in their relationships, in their childhoods. And so we need both of them to communicate. This is why I was like, where did the doctor go after this? After she said about masculine, all that kind of stuff, where did she go after? Did she break down some of this stuff? Did she make it very much aware that they're speaking the same language, but essentially the interpretations are different, right? So we need to be able to understand that too. I don't want you passing notes to me through doors. I don't need you telling your friends stuff. It's like, do you know what it gives me? It gives me, you know, when you were younger, and this is my dark arts coming to the play now, but when you were dark arts and you broke up with your girl and you talk to her friend and be like, you know, I miss your girl, like, you know, because you know what's going to happen. She's going to go and tell her, right? It's giving that energy. Do you know what I mean? Just come and tell me straight what it is, what you're feeling and what you're thinking. And the thing is, both of them are afraid of being vulnerable. And this is what it looks like. Games upon games upon games. I'm hurt, I'm going to do you dirty. You hurt, you do me dirty. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think both of them need to, but he can definitely plan. So if that's what she wanted, she needs to communicate that. And she heard it from the family too. So sis, if you wanted him to communicate and tell you the plan so that it wouldn't be mundane when you get there, you should have told him, hey, babe, listen, what's the plan? You know, have you got anything set for us? Have you got any dinner dates that I would love to go on a dinner date after, whatever? Have you put that in place? Don't just expect me to read your mind. Nobody's a mind reader, okay? We're not Dr. Strange here. And even he doesn't read minds. But anyway, Sean, go for it.
Yeah, well, she asked him what were they going to do, and he said she can go hang out with her friends. So she did, you know, maybe not using your eloquent words, but she did ask him, what is the plan? What are we going to do? And he was like, I don't know, maybe you can hang out with your friends a couple of days. So
did she say that she didn't want to do that? I can't mind read.
She said that she wasn't going there all the way to hang out with her friends. She, you know, if there was things, she
on
said
the actual
that.
show, or just after live? Okay, if you said that, I don't remember her saying that. That's why I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this was her, because obviously things are left on the cutting room floor, right? So this is her retelling of what happened in that conversation. But again, I think we just keep going on this merry-go-round of back and forth. And at the end of the day, I can definitely see that, as I've said before, she needs to be more clear in her communication of what she's looking for. And ultimately, he does need to be clear as well. And he also needs to stop being so responsive, you know, because and this is where I think the planning part comes into place, right? Because at a certain point, it is what it is. But as men, we can't always be responsive and reactive. We need to also be proactive, because that's part of the vision part that we are supposed to carry, right? So if we're the leaders of our families, right, and we're setting the vision, then that means we've got to see a few steps ahead. So I need to be proactive in knowing that, hey, look, if this is something I want my wife to do, then this is what I'm coming to the table with, right? Plenty of times, if I want us to go someplace, okay, these are some of the things that I want us to do. If I'm saying, oh, I want us to go on a trip to whitewater rafting, real example, my wife looked at me like I was dumb, and so did my stepkids, right? But it was something I wanted to do because it was something I had fun. And I'm like, guys, we can do this day. I'm going to plan a hotel that's really close to the place that we're going to go. This is where we're going to go eat, because they don't have a vested interest. I do. It's something I wanted to do. So nobody had to, I didn't have to spin a Rubik's Cube to figure it out. I said, hey, listen, this is something that's important to me. I've had fun doing it. And these are some of the things that we're going to do when we get there, right? They had an attitude the whole trip. Why we got to drive 2 hours? Why we got to go? But I tried to make it fun. I listened to music that my stepkids wanted to listen to, right? And we had fun. And guess what? Once we got there, we had a blast. They were already talking about when are we going to go again? Because when you want to do something, if there's something you want to do, you have to set the stage and you have to be proactive and you have to have a plan. And that's all I'm saying is like, I think that's on him. And those are things that he needs to do better. And stop with all the tit for tat, the petty antics, the get out my face. I just think that's just rude.
So I'm agreeing with you. And this is where we're going to tussle a little bit. I'm agreeing with you. You know, in terms of him he can be more proactive with the planning. But when I asked you, did she definitely say to him, "That's not what I want to do"? You added an aspect. You kind of added to it. You weren't 100% sure that she actually said it on the cutting room floor of the actual show that she said it. And we know that Kirsten has a history of retelling events to other people, not to the actual person. I can't trust that she would have said this thing because she has history of telling other people what she should be telling her actual partner. That's what I would say in that aspect. The second part, I agree with you though. I think he can be a little bit more proactive in terms of if he's saying she's going to come along, he can be a bit more proactive in the planning. But again, I can't mind read. If I've told you, and here's the thing about quality time, people don't realize. Sometimes when we say quality time, those of us who have quality time as a love language, I don't need you to do anything. I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to be there. Sometimes just knowing that you're in a close vicinity is the quality time. So that's why I said about communicating that to let the other person know what my expectation is might not be your expectation. So both parties failed because what should have been said is, hey, I don't want to just go there and chill. I don't want to go there and just chill. I don't want to go there and just stay there. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Right? So now I know. I was talking to someone the other day. I was one girl that I was knowing. I was like, hey, next time let's go someone do this. So all right, cool. Vibes. I now know this we're gonna. She now knows where next time when you come through, we're gonna go do this. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But if I don't communicate that and you don't tell me, I'm not gonna know that there should be something we should do differently. Now, someone might say, why don't you know that? Well, I can't mind read. What for me is an expectation isn't what's an expectation for you, which is why I'm saying that both of them are problematic, and that's why we're tussling, because you're on that side, I'm on this side as well. So, and it's a good conversation because it means that everyone gets to see both sides as well. I just need her to open her mouth and say exactly what you actually want, not back out and do a passive aggressive move and back out. Tell me you want to do some extra stuff so that I can start planning it. This man can plan. You know what I mean? This man can plan. So just tell him, hey, I want this and that. And if he doesn't want to do it, then we now know he ain't interested enough. Go for it, Sean.
But if he can plan, then why didn't he? And that's my thing, is if his family has already said that he has the ability to plan, right? And I can concede, I don't know if she told him exactly, whether or not she was disappointed. But from where I'm coming, the part I'm coming from is, if you are a leader and you have a vision and a plan of something that you want, I didn't need my wife to tell me at the time, oh, I need you to plan out all the details of a trip that you want to go to. If it's something that I'm invested in, then I'm going to take the necessary steps to prepare for my family, right? So that is my point is that someone doesn't need to tell you if there's something that you want them to do to come up with a plan. Like, why should she have to now lay it out for him? And again, I don't think she's right for pulling back. That is the worst tactic. And I'm going to say this, that is very hurtful. When you know somebody is invested in doing something, but because for whatever reason, you're upset or you get an attitude, then you pull back, because that has happened to me before. And it does hurt. It hurts your feelings and it makes you withdraw. So I think that is wrong as a way for her to respond to her feeling like she's not getting what she wants. I don't think it takes away from the fact that he needs to have a vision and a plan if there's something that he wants to do, especially if we know he has the proven capabilities of being able to plan.
Well, it's
So-
pretty.
So the plan is you come along, and that's the plan. Remember I told you, I said, if quality remember I said this, my expectation or his expectation of quality time, listen, before you jump, remember, love language, if it is quality time, I don't need to do anything with you. If you ask anybody who's a quality time person, you can sit in the same room, be on your laptop, and not pay any attention to me, and I'll be happy because you're in the room. So we have to be very careful about what we're saying in terms of planning, because the plan could be literally just come along with me. I just want you to be there and know that when I finish the thing, you're there. I can come, I can come talk to you, I can lay in bed with you, I can cuddle with you, whatever. It may not be expansive, or maybe I might even think about free flowing it a little bit. But the essential aspect is I don't have to plan something extra if that's not what I want to do. So what I'm saying to you is, if his expectation was just to chill after and not do too much, that's essentially when we're talking about quality time and what it looks like to each individual person. I'm not saying that some people want to do something and they don't, and this is an important thing. Quality time is two. I don't know if you actually read the book, you know it deeply. It's two. It's not one. One quality time is conversations. The other is activities. So understanding that is very clear. Some people, you're confusing it, going, that's not it. No, there's two in the bracket of quality time. So I'm saying that if his plan was just to chill, that would have been a plan. If my plan is to go and sit in a car with you and chill, it's a plan. Now, do you agree with the plan? No. But I don't know that if you don't tell me. You can't now be getting fed. It's not, I didn't want to sit in a car with you all night and just talk. Well, that's what I wanted to do. Did you want to do something different? Okay, let me know. But to dock him points for not planning dinner dates and this and that, maybe my plan was just to chill. So I don't know that until you tell me, Sean, that that's what you want. You want something different. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, if I say I'm coming to America, if I don't tell you I want to do extra things, I can't be getting mad at, Sean, you didn't take me around this place. You know, I can't get vexed at that. That don't make no sense. I haven't told you that I want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. But it wasn't like he was asking her for to go across the street and walk in the park. I think you're doing a little Stretch Armstrong reaching, and I get it. You want to be on this hill, so you're gonna be on this Shaq Hill, and I'm fine with that. But what I'm saying is that, look, there's no way. When I go on work trips and I travel for work all the time, there is an itinerary. He has an itinerary for when he's going on recruiting events. You have to be at certain universities at certain times. There's going to be downtime built into the schedule and the agenda. It is my job, if I want somebody to now come along with me that is not part of that organization, right? And then we're going to figure out how we're going to incorporate you on this trip, because this is a work function, right? So he should be able to say, oh, shucks, I have time for us to go to dinner on this day, but this day you're going to need to spend free time. Because what is she going to be doing? She's a grown-ass woman. She's going to be sitting around twiddling her thumbs while he's at events all day long. That's selfish. All right. So that's selfish of me to not say, I want you to come, but then I'm not going to give you an idea of some things that we're going to do while you're there to make the best of your time. Then that means I'm just not thinking of you. Then that's really selfish.
Is it selfish though? Is it selfish? No. Is it selfish, Sean? No. Real sport. Is it selfish? Because maybe you're comfortable with that. No, but maybe you're comfortable. Again, if you don't tell me, see, you're assuming, Sean, that you know exactly what she wants. You don't know. I don't know. You said dinner dates. You don't know if she likes that. You don't know. I don't know that because she hasn't said it.
Kojo,
you can't assume that. No.
Verbatim. It's an example of things that they could do. What if maybe she wants to freaking,
But you don't know. That's the point, Sean. You're assuming. You don't have no clue.
But look, just what you said proves that it's selfish, because you're saying if you're speaking from his perspective, okay, you're saying all he's talking about is what's important to him, which is for her to be there. But he's not thinking about what's important to her. I don't know Kirsten, so I don't even know what's important to her. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that if you want someone, I don't care about Kirsten. So if you want someone to go someplace with you that takes them away from their day-to-day, then as a person who is thinking about that person, you want to think about things that they're going to benefit from as well. If all you're thinking about is, I want you to be here, and that's it, that is selfish.
It's not selfish. What you're talking about is a word called consideration. What he could have done is consider and asked a question. It's not selfish, because if you don't say anything and you like that, how am I being selfish? If you like that and and you're cool with that, how is that selfish? That's what I'm saying to you. You're arguing from a point of knowing what she wants. You don't know what she wants. I don't know what she wants. Do you know what I'm saying to
I'm
you?
not
So
talking
and
about
his
Kristen.
no.
That's what I just
But if
said.
you say something,
said, but wait a second. You just said it's called being considerate. So the opposite
yeah,
of considerate is being inconsiderate.
it's not.
Inconsiderate is
Okay.
not considering the person, and that is selfish because you're only
No, it's not.
considering your needs and what's important to you. People do
I
it all
can
the
be more
time.
considering. Doesn't mean I'm not
I'm
considerate at all.
selfish too. Look, I don't care. It doesn't make him the worst person in the world. But if he's not considering his wife, who he wants to come along with him, then that is being selfish in that moment. And it's okay. It doesn't make him the arch nemesis villain of maths. It just makes him someone that needs to have self-awareness. And if you want your partner to do something, then you need to consider their needs as well. And asking her would be a way to do that.
Can I
So
say something?
at the same time, wait, hold on. If at the same time, she could also say, if the thing has been said, she could have said, "Hey, is there anything we're going to be doing?" Did she say that?
No, she didn't.
So what are we talking about then? So if
But
I
who
say to you,
wants
this
who
is
to
my
do
plan.
what?
Wait.
Who is the
Wait.
onus
If
on
I
if
say,
I want
yeah,
you
but
to
wait.
do something? If
No,
I
but
want
Sean,
you to do
no,
something,
you're thinking from your perspective.
it's not about my
If I
perspective.
said to
It's
you,
general
it is.
human nature.
No, it's
Kojo,
not.
if you
It's
want
not
me to
general.
be, if you want me to be on a panel, right?
Mhm.
And then you just blindly say, Sean, I want you to be on a panel, but you don't tell me what we're talking about. And then you get upset because I don't come on, or when I come on, I'm talking about whatever I want to talk about. That's on you because I'm doing something you want me to do, and you didn't give me clear direction and or tell me what's in it for me or what my role is.
You can't also get upset if the fact that you say, I don't know the subject. If I haven't told you a subject, if you haven't asked. That's the whole point. There's a duality here. I'm not saying it's on one person. I'm saying it's on both of them. Because if I tell you that I'm going here, come along, and you don't go to yourself, wait, hold on, let me. Is there any time that we're going to be spending together? Then I can go, oh no, I have things planned, or I don't have anything planned. Let me think of a plan. So what I'm saying to you is, it takes two in this particular in this situation. I can't blame just Shaq. There is no way that I tell you to come along with me and you don't ask no questions. So that's what I'm saying to you then. If that's the case, you're comfortable with it then. If that's the case, if you don't ask no questions about what we're going, because a plan is this: I'm going here for a work do. Come along. That's the plan. Is there more to the plan? You want to add more to the plan by saying to me, actually, if I'm going to come along, is there anything we're going to do? Oh, okay, great. Then, okay, look, then I haven't thought of a plan, or I have got things planned, etc., etc. So what I'm saying is that the duality, you cannot put the sole thing on him saying he needs to proactively say this, because if his plan is to go somewhere, it is a plan. You have to now speak up and say this plan does not fit me. That's duality. So I can't say on one side and say he's selfish. It's not selfish. My plan was go here. I've invited you, and you can say, is there anything I can do as well? You know what I mean?
And again, I'm not saying she's without fault, but I don't think because
I mean, it sound like it. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
I did tell you that she was totally incorrect for the way she handled it and for backing out, because that's hurtful and that's mean, right? So I definitely mentioned that. However, I don't think the onus is on the person that wants somebody to do something. My opinion is, if you want somebody to do something for you, then you are the one that should be the leader in it. It's different if she wanted him to go on a work trip with her and then turned around and got mad because he didn't have a plan for what they were going to do, because her perception is that men plan. You know, I could get us being like, no, all the smoke goes to Kirsten. But if I'm telling you it's very important for me for you to be on this work trip, then I need to be the one that leads in the effort and gets your buy-in. That's just general human nature. If you want somebody to do something, then you do something to convince them to do what you want them to do, especially if it requires an element of sacrifice from that person.
All right. And this is my final point on this, right? I think where we're missing each other is there a plan in place already? Sean, is there a plan in place already? Between Shaq and Kirsten, was there a plan?
No.
There was a plan. That's where we're missing each other. There was a plan.
What was
the plan? Is you come along. That's the plan. Simple as. It's not
Bro.
it might not be a great one for you and me. No, listen to me out. The plan is you come along with me. Now, if you're saying that extra things in the plan that you're asking for, that's a completely different conversation. Was there a plan? And then let me let you jump in. We tussled. We tussled on good tussle there, Sean. You know, I appreciate you. See that's how we tussle at. I like a good tussle. Hey! But yes, Seaway, Ludwin, want to interject.
I'm assuming we're talking about how she backed out of that trip, that work trip of his, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all were going back and forth. I was just trying to catch up, get some understanding. All you're getting, get some understanding, right? Okay, church, we're gonna get some understanding. What I think you guys are missing. This is all cap. It's not about whether he was selfish, she was selfish, whether she should have came along, he should have made a way. It's all cap. This is all a scheme that Todd set up. This man really is just looking for something. He don't really want her like that. I don't know what that man want. But what type of man just is constantly picking? Oh my gosh, my woman didn't come on the trip, blah, 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 blah. He's just looking for a reason to be mad about something so he can have something else to say when he tie her up. And that's what it really is. It's not both of y'all are missing the point. This is all a distraction. But let's just pretend that it's not a distraction, then Sean is right. At the end of the day, this man is constantly just thinking that people supposed to tag along with him on his bull crap. He even wanted her to tag along. Let's take it all the way back to the honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? He's clearly selfish, and he clearly just doesn't get it. Like, it's not all about you. Like, as a man, no one wants to, as a person, forget man or woman, no one wants to be tagging along on your little work trips. Like, you need to make it like worthwhile, okay? I'm sorry, Kojo, we don't. I don't think anybody wants to tag along on my work trip. If I'm saying, hey, come with me to this conference, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? When I'm here, there's going to be a baseball game that you can check out. You can go to the X, Y, and Z. Then we can go to the gala together and we can do whatever. I'm just not going to say, hey, come on the work trip and sit in the hotel. Now, I get it. Where you're right is that instead of just not going, she should have said, hey, I really don't see a space for me here and I don't like it. But the fact is why doesn't he even think about where she would fit into his plan? Why does he think that the world revolves around him, that somebody wants to go on his work trip and sit in the hotel? To me, that's just, well, Kojo, if you find somebody who's willing to do that with you, you know what, you got you a winner. But I'm letting you know, most people do not want to go on your little work trip. I don't care how much they love you and sit in the hotel and sit and entertain themselves when they could have been at their house with their folks. But I'm going to rest at the fact that this is all a distraction. This man don't want that woman. I don't know what type of person, thing, or whatever that he does want, because most men ain't picking fights about something like this. And that's just where I stand on that.
Ludwin and then Trey. Go for it.
Kojo, you just need a disclaimer first, though, please. The opinions are of Seaway and Seaway.
Oh boy. Go for it, Ludwin.
Wow. When both of you guys were nicely tussling, I was just thinking about how Kirsten probably didn't want to go in the back of her mind because she probably remembered that honeymoon trip. Well, the trip that she took before the honeymoon, and how much she did not like it, that she got stuck in the hotel room with nothing to do. Because I remember her complaining about that prior to getting to the island. So with the fact that I remember that trip, that's one. And then two, he didn't really give an actual plan per se of what she gonna be doing. All he said, like, well, you got little friends down there, you can hang out with them. I'm like, well, I have my friends here in town. My actual close homegirls are in town. I don't have to go out of town to go hang out with people where I barely see like that for me to pass the time. So if it's not something that's straight to the point or in black and white, like what we doing that whole trip, she probably was like, you know what, last time I went, he didn't give me anything to do. He probably won't do the same. So she probably backed out because of that. You know, she didn't want to be stuck in that hotel again because he doesn't give much direction. That's my point of view with that.
Appreciate Ludwin. Trey, you want to add?
almost forgot what I wanted to say earlier. You and Sean was just having a passionate little back and forth here. I was like,
At least it ain't me this time,
All
Trey.
right,
I'm just glad it's not me. Let them fight.
I mean, the funny thing was, listen, anybody gonna agree with this? The funny thing was, y'all both are correct. It just depends on the circumstances that you're in at the time. Now, to answer the question, the earlier question earlier, if Shaq is such a good planner, why he didn't plan this event or whatever, he just was like, yeah, you can come. It's a very simple answer. He no longer wants to make plans with Kirsten involved. He's done. Once a man get done with a situation, he's gonna be done with that situation. You think he's gonna bother to make plans for it? For what? Why am I wasting my time? Yeah, you can come. You come. Sure. Why not? He don't care. He really don't care. And they both, it's just weird to me. It's just weird to me how, well, in this aspect, it's the same as Eris and Jasmine. In the beginning, you had one that was all in, trying to make it work, doing what they can, blah, blah, blah. The other one didn't like you. Now, all of a sudden, you see a flip-flop. There's a flip-flop here. Shaq is being petty. He's acting like he don't care. Kirsten, all of a sudden, is getting super involved, which is weird to me. But I think I understand why, and it has nothing to do with Shaq per se. I think it has everything to do with the fact that she's trying to prove something to her father. That's what I think it really is. She's got something to prove. Her father don't like her doing this, didn't like her, didn't want to support it. Father already said, why do I need to meet this man? I already don't like him. Don't matter. So for her to save a little bit of face, I got to make this work, because if I don't, it's going to prove my daddy right. And Kirsten likes to be in control, and she likes to be right. I wonder who she got that from. She got something to prove. I'm telling you, she got something to prove. Her daddy done said some things, and she want to prove him wrong. As a lot of us did with our parents at one point in time. Parents said something to you, you're like, nah. You did your damnedest to try to prove that you were right in the situation, for only to be like, oh, okay, yeah, they had a point. They had a point. But
Sorry, anyone else wanted to add? Anyone else want to add? JR, did you want to add? That was a good tussle, man. I enjoyed that. You know, sure, we need to have more of these tussles, bro. We need to have more of these tussles. Good, healthy tussle, just man to man, just, you know, bumping fist and chest, you know. So no, it was good conversation. I enjoyed it, and whichever side you fall on. Listen, if you invite me out, I think this is where it is. Maybe I need to also look at it from my perspective. If you invite me anywhere, I'm a party by myself. You know what I mean? If you say you got to stay in a hotel, I'll leave the hotel, I'll go for a walk, I'll go and do things, I'll go and find things to do. Like, I don't need you to plan something for me, but that's because I'm very solely independent. And if you're not that way, it will look differently for you. You might want an actual plan, as in tell me what we're doing exactly. So I think it really does depend on the individual person too, as well, in terms of that aspect. So I'm also hearing what Sean is saying too. But me personally, you put me in a hotel room, shoot, you saw me, Sean. I was in New York, fam. You told me to go places I shouldn't go, and I went. You know what I mean? I toured. I didn't need Sean to hold my hand to do it. That's because that's me. I'm a free spirit like that. But that doesn't mean everyone is like that. So what I'm saying is everyone needs to have a conversation. You know what I mean? Everybody has to have a conversation. Shaq's culpable, and she's also culpable because they got to have a conversation. I think that's where we can all agree that they could have had a conversation. But the tussle was good. It made me feel better. You know what I mean? I feel like I lost weight as well. So you know, I lost some weight there. Let's have another couple. We spent 2 hours on them. That is crazy. That's because the rest of them are boring. Anyway, listen, let's talk about another couple, Gina and Clint, because I'm tired of Gina. I'm going to be honest with you. I am tired of Gina. Why does she always have to add a lip quiver comment in there? And it's always a little slick, shady little thing about it. And it's like, sis, people in glass houses should not be throwing any type of stones. They should be quiet and they should be humble and they should be submissive and learning quietness. Nah, but all jokes aside, but she should just chill. Like, it's too much. How are you going to ask? The swag comment killed me, first and foremost. Swag comment. And then she wanted to make sure that she had to stay as a victim, because she was like, when Clint said, you know, I think I got a lot of swag here. People have told me I got a lot of swag. She quickly changed it into, well, you know, it wasn't as bad as a comment that you made on the holiday. So we're still talking about that comment on the holiday. We're still talking about the comment on the holiday. Sis, you are a perpetual victim. You have Karen bones in your system, and I need you to leave it alone. Okay, leave it alone, Gina. Okay. Come on, Gina, hold my ears. All right, cool. Let's get your thoughts on Gina and Clint and what you guys thought about their connection. And she was trying to talk for him as well. Did anybody else notice that Dr. P told her off as well? Said, don't talk for him. And she tried to talk for him as well. But anyway, what was you guys' thoughts on Gina and Clint? Shade upon shade. He's been taking licks and licks upon this girl. I'll tell you this now. You know, his masculine energy is on 100 because that brother hasn't responded to nothing apart from the first one. But what's your thoughts? Go for it, Crystal.
I'll make this quick. I feel like Gina wants a black man too. I think so. The swag comment killed me, and then she had to follow.
Wait,
well,
Crystal.
You could have swag,
Crystal,
if you cut your hair. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? Because tonight this is my vindication day. Say it one more time. What kind of man do you think Gina wants?
I think that Gina wants a black man too. I think that Gina kind of wants a black man too. We said about Dominic. Yeah, I actually got something for y'all later. If I'm awake by the time we get to Harrison, what's his name? But Gina wants a black man too. She wanted to speak for the man. When Dr. P, and I really like her. She was like, let him answer. So yeah, Gina wants a black, and they're the best of friends. What's his name? Clint likes to do. He does naked pics. He does D pics. Yeah. She just like it's just so disgusting to girl. That's all cap. You know, I just don't like talking about sex. Shut up. That's it. They're just the best of friends. That's all I got for now.
Go for it, Celia? Yep.
Couple of things. Dr. Pia actually did an amazing job with this couple. I think a lot of the times the experts talk about, oh, you guys aren't having sex, you guys aren't intimate, just do it. She actually took her time and went very slowly and diligently through the problem and tried to get them, you know, to piecemeal the issue. And I thought that this was wonderful counseling on the screen. And I think there's a lot that could be learned from how Dr. Pia did with this couple. I thought that was refreshing to see how she really took her time to try to work them through the issues. And towards the end, I think they were better off than when they started. And I think that's good. What I'll say about this couple is, if you don't like Clint, if you don't think Clint is funny, something is wrong with you. I spent the entire scene busting out laughing. I love how he don't take himself too seriously. I like how, you know, he takes his little jabs on the chin. That is masculinity, not taking yourself too seriously. Me saying your haircut is trash, and you be like, I don't think so. Like, you know, he was really, his ability to be light was really refreshing. Do I think him and Gina are going to get there? That's up to Gina. I think Clint really showed this episode that if she would let him in just a little bit, he would try to move towards her. I know they kind of tried it with the feather situation, and I think they got a little closer, but I still think Gina's holding back for whatever her reasons are, her insecurities from the comment, and him not really being her type. I'm not sure if it's a black man per se. I don't know. I'm still not sure about that, but it's definitely not Clint. So I don't know. I think Clint actually is what Gina may need. So it's up to her to figure out if she would try to open herself up to it. Because the way they vibe, that's a lifetime friendship, what they could have, honestly. And yeah, I mean, it would be nice for her to kind of see that, but I don't know if she's going to get to that point because she's still stuck on him not being it. So.
Thank you, Siwei. Who's next? JR, go for it. Thank you. You tilted your head, so that's why I said you.
Yeah, listen, flatmates, housemates, roommates. That's what this couple are, and that's all they're gonna be. All right. If like we spoke about staying around for the check before, I think Gina's staying around for the check. She hasn't felt Clint from day one. And if she had the choice to leave, like she could have left after Dominique. I'm sure she would have, but the check is keeping her there. It's definitely not the connection with Clint, because when they sat down with Dr. Pio, and they were being asked about intimacy and all that, like she basically was saying, why would I need to be intimate with someone that I am not physically attracted to? There is no sexual attraction there whatsoever. So why go through this intimacy conversation? She's trying to shut it down. All right. Now, yeah, Clint is very self-depreciating. Like he's very lighthearted, especially with things that some people might find personal, because they are digs that she's taking. But I think he's worked out that that's just who she is. So he's just not rising to it like he did the first time, because obviously, like you said, when he responded the first time, she definitely got wounded by that. But she still continues to do it in minor ways. But imagine you're there next to the person you're married to, all right? And they basically just say, look, there's zero attraction. So what's the point? You're not going to want to stay married to the person, right? Because you're going to be like, wow, that is definitely her saying she's checked out and there's no hope, no chance. All right. So this couple is flatmates until the end of the show, and then they're both going to say no because the connection just wasn't made.
I guess I'll go right quick. Listen, Senator Clint continues to have my vote. You know what I'm saying? I believe in Senator Clint. It's if Gina, JR just said it, Gina made it perfectly clear where she stands with him. And it's nowhere. She don't want to stand beside him. She really don't want to be there. But she is until the duration. And we just gonna part ways when that day comes. I mean, she kind of went overboard with it. Like I'm like, it was almost getting to the border of it being rude. I was like, whoa, okay, and yeah, when Dr. Pia was actually going directly at her, she didn't appreciate that either. She was just like, oh, wait, what, me? What, I'm the problem? No, I'm not the problem. Yeah, you are the problem. You definitely the problem is, because it's obviously one side is he's trying. I give it to Clint. He is at least trying and trying to be open with it, because he's not stupid. He see where this is. He see where it's going. But hey, I said I'm going to go through this process to give it a try. So he's going to go through the process to give it a try. What I thought was super interesting was when they were trying to use some of the stuff, the massager, the feather, and all this mess. Somewhere in there, Gina finds a way to bring up the fact of what happened in Jamaica again. She did it again. I'm like, why are you bringing this back up? Like, why? It's not needed. And what got me was, okay, you quickly brought up what he said, but you still will not acknowledge or take accountability for what you said first to him to cause him to respond to you in that manner. Yeah, Gina's a whole problem. Yeah, it's a whole problem. I really don't want them on my screen anymore, but they're up there, so you know we got to deal with them. But I like Clint. I get his humor. He's funny as hell. He got plenty of swag. That's what I thought was real funny. She's gonna accuse him of not having swag. I'm like, he got more swag than you ever will. That's the crazy thing about it. Way more swag. Like, what are you talking about? Trying to tell this man to get a haircut, whatever. Why are you still promoting your salon? Why? Stop. Just stop. We're supposed to be talking about our intimacy right now. And you still promoting them. Like, oh, I can cut your hair. I can do this. No, you don't like gingers. Get out of my head. You don't like my hair. You don't like me. Get out of my head. What are you talking about? You missed me with that. I'm sorry. I'm getting passionate. Let me pull back. Because Sean don't like when men do that. So I'm going to pull back a little bit. Sorry, I'm just playing, Sean. I'm just playing. But you get what I'm saying. Like, nah. You miss me with all this. Just missing me. I'm here playing in our faces and stuff. But hey, it's TV. I'm entertained. So keep it coming.
Thank you, Trey. Who hasn't spoken on this? Sean, you spoken on
Not
this?
yet.
Go for it.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not going to hold y'all. I think we're all on the same page. And I just think it's interesting that Gina thinks she knows it all. And I think that's her issue, is she's not open to see how she could be wrong. And I think with her mentality, that's why she hasn't had success in relationships, because she thinks she knows everything and she thinks that her way is the right way. So she just thinks that all she needs to do is find a man that's going to be able to get on her plan. And that's the wrong way of doing it. She's going to have to learn how to grow. So I think that, Clinton has been nothing but over, just bearing her antics. And look, I don't know how many different ways y'all need Gina to say it. What you need her to say? She wants a man to watch BET. You need her to say she wants a man that likes hip hop. You need her to say that she wants a man that is urban, because all these it's code words for she wants her some of this chocolate, And I'm sorry, that's my little opinion. Could I be wrong? 100% I could be, but I think that's what she's trying to say, that. She don't like Ginger. She don't like his long hair. She don't like the way he dresses around the house. Clint looks more like he's from Nantucket more than he's from, Nashville. So look, I just believe that to be the case. But I do think that's some of her issue. And I'm glad Dr. P called her out. Dr. P, she's winning, because she's calling out stuff and making folks have these uncomfortable conversations. And what was so weird to me is that she's like, oh, she's a sexual person. But to me, I call cap on her, because when it came time to talk about it, she was kind of in the same boat with Aris, with this not to talking, but the actions ain't backing it up. Then when she gets the feather, she's like, oh, the feathers. And, it just seemed all very foreign to her, and all very much like they were two kids playing in the sandbox versus people playing with sex toys. So I think that it could be something that she's maybe not comfortable talking about, but she's definitely not as into the intimacy as she proclaims to be. At least that's not what I see. And I think she's checked him out. She's pretty much written him off and said, I just have no interest. We're just going to go along to get along, and we're going to be very good friends, maybe. And we're going to move along, and you can watch my dog. That's pretty much how she sees Clint, and she put him in that box. She friend zoned him hard.
I can go next. Okay. Um, I ain't gonna hold you about the haircut thing because on the after party, he looked like he had a little haircut, and I liked it on him. So it could make the swag a little bit better if change a little bit about the haircut. Um, I thought it was hilarious when he was like, "What you mean I ain't got no swag?" Sir, you don't got no swag. You have personality, but the clothes, sometimes I feel like the clothes don't match his vibrant personality. Like he's still dressed like a regular white country guy, and that's okay. But I have seen some white guys with a little bit of a style that matches their personality. I feel like he's not really finding his footing with his outfits per se. But for someone that has such a big personality, I would assume that he would wear more solid colors, but he's wearing like a lot of patterns in his outfits, which is clashing for me. So that could be where that Gina may see that he doesn't have a lot of swag. But I like Clint. Clint is growing on anybody that he's around. That's why I find that so hard that she's not growing to like him either. I feel like she's just stuck. She's not allowing his charm to get to her. And it's one thing that Dr. Pia asks about the sexual activity is like they both were like, yeah, we doing stuff separately. So my mind went like, so y'all touching yourselves separately in another room when y'all could be doing that together? you know, that's just weird. Like, I don't know. I just she didn't want to answer some of the sex questions, which I also feel like that could be where she's not comfortable telling him, what sex positions that she likes, which is kind of weird to also ask on national TV. I probably wouldn't answer that question either if I was Gina. I wouldn't be comfortable telling that on national TV. That's just my thing. Um, but I I don't know. I wouldn't go as far to call them just roommates. But I just feel like if Gina won't let the conversations flow to build a relationship, I think she should just quit the show because at this point, if he's trying, like he's putting his best foot forward and she's like dragging her feet, then it's no longer on Clint, like everyone else has been saying on this panel. Um, I don't know. That that's my point of view of those two.
Thank you, Ludwin. Okay. Anyone else have any last thoughts on this? No? All right, I'll shift it. Let's talk obviously then Aris and Yasmin. Aris and Yasmin, their situation. Although we've come to the end of the road for them. So let's go for it. Yes, Crystal, go for it.
I apologize. So this is my apology. That girl was so passive aggressive. Sitting there at that table, she just saved everything for when Dr. Pia came in, and she was like, "Oh, he friend zoned me at the honeymoon. He don't like me. I'm here to be a wife, not a friend." And she just went. I said, "Girl, you saving all this fire for Dr. Pia?" And she did not let up. I even saw, even though Eris looks very stoic 95% of this time, he kind of just like darted his eyes like, where's all this fire coming from? Right. But I do have to say, what's her name? And he said it to us, he said it to the ITMs that he wants somebody to like be combative with him. And that's not her. That's what's going to light his fire. That's what's going to excite him. That's not her. She might do this once or twice, but that if you want that to excite you and to arouse you, so they don't even touch. They don't even touch. And I just sweep things under the rug. I just sweep things under the rug. I now them I agree. Girl, move into the other room. Just move into the other room. You've quit the show. You what do they call it? Soft quitting. You've quit. So just move into the other room and let it go. And now anytime he tries, she doesn't even look at it as trying. She's like, he's just doing that to pass the time goes by. He doesn't even want to talk to me. He doesn't want me around, and he doesn't want to be in the same room with me. He's not attracted to me. Like, she just went off. And when they're alone together, she don't say nothing. So this is my apology to y'all. I know she may not have been doing it a couple weeks ago, but she definitely was passive aggressive this episode. I gotta say, this is my last point. Eris, he loved to call her mother, call her sister, and try to get advice. But then when he does, he sticks his foot in his mouth. Like, why would you tell her Pastor Cal told me to clap, so I clapped for her if I'm not attracted? It don't even bring it to me. Even if her sister said, well, what did you think of her when you first saw her? He could have just said, I thought she was very pretty. He could have said something. He did not have to go there. Well, Pastor Cal told me to. See, you just now you stuck your foot in it again. Now it's another reason for her to say he don't want me. So it's another reason. And she's like, I am trying. I am at the beginning of the show. No, girl, you have resolved yourself to the fact that this man don't want you, and so you've now pulled all the way back, like we said last week. So I don't know. It's almost like I don't know why he did that. Why'd you even call her sister just to stick your foot in it, just to stick your foot in your mouth? So that was kind of crazy. Yeah, that's all I can think of for now.
Thank you for that, Crystal. Let's go next on the Iris and Jasmine ride. Yes, sure. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually feel like, although I definitely think her communication skills are poor, and I think she is rightfully so to be checked out, and she needs to be checked out. And unfortunately, she should have been checked out weeks ago, but she was busy holding out hope that he was going to, fall underneath her spell of niceties. And unfortunately for him, it's not meaning anything. And when Dr. P pointed that out, I mean, she thought she had a win, but that wasn't a win. Aris was just going to say anything for her not to press any further and dig into his issues. So he was like, yeah, that's what I like. No, he's not attracted to her. It ain't about her stressing him out or giving him pushback. Maybe he fancies a little bit of the back and forth, but that's not what's keeping him away from being attracted to her. He's just not attracted to her for whatever reason, right? So I do think that he just does not strike me as a 40-year-old guy. He just really leans towards being very immature. And he's, and I just think the switch up for him to go from the dude that talks about orgies to talking about he want to be celibate and wait until after the wedding day is where I just got to call cap on him. Now, all of a sudden, he wants a woman to give him a little bit more pushback. So I can't keep up with Aris. You want to talk about somebody moving goalposts? He can switch a goalpost better than anybody I've ever seen because it moves every single episode. It's a different goalpost he doesn't switch to. So I think he just needs to keep it plain. He's not interested in her. And I'm sorry that it hurts her feelings. Perhaps I think for her, especially being in the beauty pageant, world, when someone doesn't like you, it's a blow to her. But I would think that she's lost some pageants over the years. So just kind of understand it's not always personal. It doesn't mean the person that won or the person that they like is better than you. It's just that you just didn't win this one and you got to go on to the next. Because what has he really shown her to be wanting of? I haven't seen it. So I'll end there.
Yeah, I think it was interesting. I think it was real interesting how, yes, Jasmine is coming off very passive aggressive. It is a little weird how, okay, you should have been and said them things to him to his face, but you wait till you get into a situation with Dr. P to try to vent to someone else. It's like, okay, it's a little bit childish actually. But what I did, yeah, I said it childish. But what I did find funny was that all of a sudden, yeah, I think it was Crystal said, start looking to the side. All of a sudden, yeah, Eric started engaging because I think he is used to that, just that type of toxicity in his life from women. He likes a little spice in his, in his point of view. And Jasmine was getting real spicy. He was kind of liked it. He was like, yeah, that's kind of sexy. That's kind of hot right there. I was like, okay. And Jasmine was like, what? Like, okay, yeah, because that's not her. That's usually not her. And she's not going to be able to fulfill that role. So, yeah. Everybody's just wasting their time with this one. Just wasting the time. As soon as Aries sets off the table for her, it was a done deal. Which I'm still a component. He should have, because if you ain't feeling her like that, don't sleep with that woman. So that's the only good thing that he has done. That's it. That's it. But we all know where this is headed. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. JR, go for it.
Yeah, Jasmine has given Eris a lot of time and a lot of grace. And she is fed up with that now. So she's calling it out and she's realized that this isn't what she signed up for. All right. The level of frustration that she's showing, I can understand why. Because Aris has given her nothing to work with from the start. And every week it's a different issue why he can't do it. Right? So Aris is a problem. He definitely is not geared for the type of relationship, marriage that this is supposed to be. Not in any way, shape, or form. And I think the reason why she went off in front of Dr. Pia is because she has said these things in different ways to Aris. And then it's got to a point now where when Dr. Pia asked those probing questions, she just came out with it. There was no covering, there was no protecting. It was wham, like she just spewed it all out. Like she said, she didn't come on the show to be a friend. She came on the show to be a wife. And I think that frustration, for most people, marriage is a big deal. It's something that a lot of people look forward to, and I don't think she signed up for this process thinking that she was going to come away without a loving husband, a happy marriage. But that's where it looks like it's heading. And so Aris isn't gonna change. I agree with Trey, and I've said it before. The worst thing that could happen is if they sleep together, because that's only going to paper over the cracks temporarily. Fact of the matter is, he's going to be as unavailable emotionally as he has been. And, also when he has talked about his previous sexploits and things like that, it makes me even question even more why he's so unattracted to Jasmine, But I get it. Everybody has their own types, and everybody has their own feelings and opinions on who they're with in this show. But Aris has literally given nothing from day one. Nothing. I can't think of 3 things that guy has done to endear himself to Jasmine. And, you know, this isn't a long debate like with Kirsten and Shaq. This is cut and dry. This is simple. Aris is not cut out for the type of marriage that Jasmine is looking for from him. No way. And I would say the good thing as well is they're not having heated arguments, but it's emotionally charged because she wants something that he just simply can't offer. He's so short-sighted that, and I think he has so many things going on with him that he just can't do it. He just can't do it. And I don't even get the impression that he's even trying to overcome some of these things. He's mentioning them, but I don't think he's actually doing enough to, you know, put them behind him. Because the worst thing you can do is bring previous stuff into a current relationship, and that person hasn't done anything. That person's expecting to see you for who you are, and you're piling on all this stuff that's happened to you years ago. You know, so Jasmine's not his therapist, right? And you know, I think that in a way he's trying to almost not therapize her, but you know, he's giving reasons that she can't control. She can't control what happened to him previously. So there's nothing she can do about it. It's something he has to overcome. So unfortunately, I don't see them saying yes on decision day. Jasmine definitely shouldn't say yes because, you know, it just hasn't worked out for her in the way she wanted to. And Aris, you know, you were never in it from the start. So definitely don't think about saying yes.
Ladies down the bottom, and Trey. I think Trey's already said so. It's just see where Ludwig go for it, and then see where.
I think most of you guys said everything, honestly, because it's okay. I like how somebody was saying in the comments he wants that spicy the same way that his cousin gave her that spice that she was giving him. You know, that little back and forth, that little da 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 da, telling you off that what you shouldn't be doing, should be doing, da da da. And I feel like that's the same thing he wants from Jasmine, but Jasmine is not like that, which kind of remind me of like Marshall and Jackie from Love Is Blind. Like she wants that let's argue back and forth energy because that's what gives him, you know, that ooh, yes, yell at me, baby. You know, and it's kind of weird to get aroused by arguments. I don't know, like people people like to have angry sex, or like I don't get it. I don't get aroused by arguments. I don't get aroused by just going tit for tat. Um, so it always boggles me when that we have people out there like that like that. Um, that whole toxicity. And I think I said this the last time I was on this panel too. It's like we had 2 people who don't know how to be in relationships because they don't know how to communicate with each other. That's why like she holds it in and don't communicate, but she want to communicate in front of other people. Every time like they had a meeting with a a doctor, she always I got all these things to say, or when she's with the girl, she got all these things to say, but when they're in the house, they're quiet. They're like roommates in the house, just sitting. They'll probably sit on opposite end of the couch as well, and just don't talk. You know, they don't really have that like at least they could be friendly like Clint and Gina. I don't even think they have that energy in the house either. It's probably very dry in the house, probably very quiet. It's probably, you know, hey, how was your day? Oh, we good. Da da da. Okay, did you eat? Boom. Shower, leave the house, go to the next thing. I believe they have conflicting times for work as well, so it probably makes it a lot easier for them not to talk. So whenever they have that outlet, they just word diarrhea to everybody else that they meet except for each other in the house. I would have taken it if at least they had that friendship energy. They don't even have that. So it's kind of like they're pulling teeth just being around each other, and that's hard to see as well.
Thank you, Lucy.
I'm kind of debating how I'm going to say this because I don't know. If you don't have like anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. So I really kind of just don't know what else to say about these two. Honestly.
Don't tease us. What you want to say?
Me personally, I don't feel like Eris is doing nothing wrong. Unpopular opinion. I think that man is trying to the best of his capacity, and his capacity is minimal. So let's just start there. I think he has a very stunted, minimal capacity. But I do think this man is working at his capacity. If a man don't find you cute, he don't find you attractive, he don't think you got no swag, he don't think you got that it factor, don't try to make it, ooh, he wants toxic, ooh, he wants this, ooh, he wants that. He just doesn't want you. Honestly, I would have taken my bags. I would have dipped a long time ago, because unlike women, if a man done made up his mind about you, he done made up his mind about you early on, and there's no fixing that. Women, we grow into whatever. That's why we talk about we like medium ugly men, because we grow into loving y'all. Men don't do that. They're done. If they're done from the beginning, they're done. So, not you not knowing what medium ugly means, Michelle. Yeah. So I just don't know what to say. I feel like she's crying in the camera and she's upsetting herself. I could never go out like that.
You know, Seaway don't like no tears. She don't like nobody crying.
I'm not never going out like that. Not never. Man, talk about he don't find me cute. I just pictured it in my head, right? Like, what if I got matched at Married at First Sight with a man who like white women or something? Like somebody Dr. Umar would be very displeased with. You know what I mean? Like some that I could just not do anything about. Like in the day, I'm not ever going to be white, right? Like, would I really be sitting up on the camera and crying all day? Or I'm going to tell him go be blessed. I'm going to tell him just to be blessed. And we're just, it's not gonna work. So I think people can be mad at Eris, but in the day, like, she's not what he's looking for in no types of ways. What else is there to say? He done try to be nice. He didn't sleep with the girl. He be trying, or at least trying on camera. And he can't get there because he doesn't want her. And child, she bores me too on the screen. I'm just saying. So I mean, I don't have nothing for her. I don't have nothing for them anymore.
So I'm not going to tussle with you because you did apologize in the beginning. So, but I thought at the very least we agreed. I thought you coined a different term away from the medium ugly. I thought you said medium handsome or some.
No. I'm talking about when we actually like medium ugly though.
But I just thought we were going to move away from that word.
Okay, medium handsome it is. You're right.
You don't believe it though. You don't believe it.
You're right. I did say that. It's easy. I'm easy today. You're right.
No. I don't want it that way. I'm like Aris in this. I need a little bit of fight to know it's real.
That's the real truth.
That's not real.
He's toxic. She's toxic. Y'all like a little toxic. It's okay. That is why I think Ludwig was saying that is why Jackie don't like Marshall. On top of the fact that other things, okay, but call it what you want. You know, you got to have that it factor. You know what I mean? It's not just about toxic, not toxic. You want someone who entices you, someone who's interesting, someone who gives you that vibe, that gives you that you know what I mean? And yes, sometimes that comes in the form of being toxic, but sometimes it just comes in the form of being interesting. And Jack will have to say Eris is boring and low energy. He is, but so is she. Like they're both just like low, I don't want to say low vibrations, that means negative, but like they're both just like very, very low energy, They probably both need to be matched with someone who's like the more exciting one. They're just too the same. Somebody got to have something. And both of them are just blah, I'm bored. On top of the fact, someone else said this in the comments, I won't take credit for this. Ask these Black men in particular, and if you said this in the comments, I'll give you credit for this. I just can't remember who your type is, who your celebrity crush is, who you want. Because if you match a Black man, he like a red bone, you give him a chocolate girl, he's not gonna go. If you have a Black man on the show, he likes a thick girl, you give her a skinny girl, he's not gonna go. He wants somebody who wear their own hair, they wear wigs. You know what I'm saying? Like Black men sometimes can be very particular. Married at First Sight needs to just go ahead and ask them what their type is. So we didn't even got to go through this, because I don't believe Jasmine even had a running start. She was done before she started. She didn't even get out the blocks. She was disqualified. She was scratched at the blocks. She didn't get out because that was never who he wanted, never who he would have wanted. So I also think they're doing her a disservice. You need to ask these folks who they want. And if they say they don't have a type, stick to that. Be honest.
They ask them for pictures of their exes. They actually get pictures of their exes for them.
So
but that's production. They'd be pushing people outside of their comfort zone.
Well, they're constantly doing, I would say, Black women in general disservice with the people. And they've done sometimes Black men a disservice as well. But I just think it's kind of unnecessary pain, because at the end of the day, like, I don't want to see nobody crying and sad. And she seems like her dreams were crushed. Like she really put a lot of effort and hope and dreams into this process. And for them to give her a 39-year-old man who's delayed maturity-wise and who doesn't want her type-wise and who has a very minimal capacity to begin with, like, y'all kind of set her up for failure, and that's unfortunate. But we're on season what the hell? You should know at this point that you're bound to get set up for the okie doke. So what are we gonna do? That's it.
Listen, I hear you. I hear you on Aris and Jasmine still. I think it's good for them to come to an end, you know what I mean? But I think he did well. I mean, he's trying not to play her along, you know. I know she wants more from him, but I said already that I think he's done well not to sleep with her. I know someone might say, well, you shouldn't, but listen, if you're offering the poussoir, I might just slam dunk a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, you offering it, I'm gonna take it. Don't be getting mad at me. If you offering it, I'm gonna take it, So he hasn't done that. He's made sure that he doesn't do that because he doesn't want to lead her on. That's the reality. The reality is he doesn't want to lead her on because he won't be, and he knows she's clingy. That's the real reality. He can't get away scot-free. You know what I mean? That's the biggest part. So I think he's stayed away from doing that and he's kept himself away from it. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, and what do y'all think about Pastor Kyle telling him that he just should clap up for her the day of the wedding because it's better to it's just better in the long run. And Eris aired him right on out. He tried to give him some good uncle advice, and Eris aired him out, and then that even pissed off Jasmine even more.
Pastor Kyle is a false prophet. He should not be saying none of the stuff that he's saying.
These are Seaway's opinions. These are not my opinions.
Completely my opinion.
Not a false prophet, Seaway. God.
What else would you call what he's doing?
Well, not effective advice. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, somewhere between that and what I said.
That's a long ways away.
False prophet is a big step. It's a big step. It'll be a heavy one for me to say. You know, so yeah, fourth one would be for me, but no, I mean, you know, look, hey, I think I think him airing out Pastor Kyle was also cheap as well. I just think that's tacky, man, and that just shows again a lack of emotional intelligence and awareness as well. Why did you have to air out Pastor Kyle the advice he gave you about clapping? You know what I'm saying? No one told you to also tell your boys what you thought she was. No one told you to make the jokes about sex. No one told you to do those things. So like, don't be airing out people like that, man. That's not cute, man, at all, man. That's not. That for me is problematic too. It just shows a bit your character. It's like bro, you know yourself that, you know, if that was advice that was given to you, it wasn't meant to be retold and resaid. And actually, it was just more hurtful. It's like it didn't need to be said. Now, maybe this could have been said off camera and had a conversation, and you're having a real conversation about that day or whatever. But saying that on camera just doesn't make sense for me. Like I clapped my hands at the thingy because Pastor Gal told me. It's like, yo, like that ain't in it at all, man. That ain't it at all. So, you know, again, you know, I think it was good, solid advice. I didn't think it was bad advice from Pastor Cal. It's just to make sure that again, you don't hurt the person's feelings. It's not going to show necessarily that you like the person 100%. But a clap is just, you know, again, don't make it too like it's the first time the person's ever meeting you. Just be respectful in that terms. If they said that for me too, I'd have been like, you know, I appreciate that, because I don't know how it would have felt if someone was just suddenly like, you know what I mean? Like imagine you walk up and the person's like, you know what I mean? And then she looking at her girlfriends and knowing, because you know that, you know, you ugly to her. Like, you don't want to see that. I'd rather you clap. You tell me in private after, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. You're not my type. All right, cool. At least I know. You know what I mean? Like I said, I now know. Don't lie to me. Don't try to pretend to make it. Don't fake the funk. You know I'm not your type. You know that you're not attracted to me. Don't fake the funk. But, you know, but be respectful about it. I think that was the key thing that he missed. And I just can see that you're not, the fact that you can't read that, for me, is problematic of your again, you know, of your awareness of the situation. Yes, Crystal.
And the sad thing is, he genuinely did not know why she was upset about it, and it was just encouraging. Just be encouraging. Pastor Kyle was like, whether it was a clap or just something, but you telling her and you not understand how she would take that was not a good look at all. And whether it was a clap or not a clap, but just tell her she looks beautiful, she might be nervous, you know, all of those things. I just don't get, he just didn't understand. And that, like you said, he's just very immature, you know, 40-year-old man. He just doesn't understand social cues. He doesn't understand a lot of things that something very delayed there. That's it.
He would not 100. All right, let's quickly talk about obviously Chris and Nicole. Because I know there was some situation there as well. So Chris and Nicole, what's your thoughts on this situation? Who wants to take that lead on this conversation? Chris and Nicole, because you know, she let everybody know, she let the doctor know that, you know, the more she gets in this relationship, the more she realizes she's got a level of madness in her. She got a lot of things that she needs to work on, you know, and that's real, and I respect that. But there were some other comments that were made that were a little bit funny. But anyway, what's you guys and ladies, what's your thoughts on the Chris and Nicole situations? What's your thoughts? Who want to kick it off? Who brave enough to? JR said he's not even going to move, so I can't choose him. Go on, Seaway.
All I say is the bidet scene was cute. I thought it was nice that he was willing to wash his butt with her. Thought that was adorable. I think they're the only couple that's gonna make it. I fast forward through all of her crying scenes. So if something happened through there with their trauma bonding, I powered through all of their trauma bonding scenes because I'm uninterested. So Kojo, if you're referring to something in their trauma bonding therapy scenes, I know nothing about it. So that's all I got.
I'll enlighten you a little bit, Seaway. This poor girl has been through it. This was one of the only scenes that, episodes where we didn't have her reminiscing about her childhood and just doing whatever. But the self-deprecating, saying that saying that she's effed up and that she's just a mess and everything. I was like, girl, just this poor girl. And she's just been through a lot. And so she has like some real self-worth issues. And she would just have sex just because she's angry sex because she just needs to feel loved. And it's just real sad. It was just really sad. And then Chris said that he was used for sex, which was just so funny to me because I don't see that either. I don't see that either. I was like, I could see you being used for somebody to do your taxes, but used for sex, I just don't see that. I just didn't see that. So yeah, I just don't see that. But but yeah, they're the ones that will stay together. They're the ones that are legitimately care about each other, and that's it. Yeah. Ain't nobody using Chris for sex. That's it.
I will say she politely told him that she thinks his booty stinks by hooking up that B-Day, and it's probably either him or the dogs that have been running up in the bed. And I think this is a process of elimination. So getting the B-Day, this guy pretty much washed his booty on TV for her, right? They seem to work despite his often sad and quiet demeanor, and her, like, you could tell she's holding back a level of firecracker wildness. They seem to work, right? And I'm all for it. I think that like Crystal said, she didn't really talk about the past traumatic experiences, but she's beginning to realize things about herself. And I think that's very eye-opening for her. It's a revelation. I don't think she's taken stock of herself to that degree. And that can be a good thing, because now that she's aware of how she is, then she can get over any previous problems that she may have had with dealing with certain things. And I'm not saying that Chris brought that out of her, but it's good that she's got that self-awareness. And then Chris, he hasn't fully opened up about what's troubling him, but I don't see him dwelling on it all the time. It's just really in his affect. He's not actually speaking about it all the time and referring to it. So I think that this couple is the only one I see working. And, there hasn't been any real conflict or confrontation or any pushback between them as of yet. So, yeah, hopefully they stay on track, and they continue to communicate and be affectionate and be intimate as well. I think this was the only couple where intimacy isn't really a problem for them. So, yeah, hopefully they work.
Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought the bidet scene was very cringy. And but it looks like that's why Kirsten confides in Nicole, because they both like a guy that can put something together, because Chris put the bidet together before they sat on it, and watched and filmed it. Yeah, I think that was one of the scenes that I wish would have stayed on the cutting room floor for Mav's history. Yeah, that has got to be a no-go for me. I also think sometimes, and this might have been an example when, I think Dr. P did a good job with like unearthing some of Nicole's issues and her being self-deprecating encouraging her to be proud of herself and, just own the future, because she stays stuck in the past and the things that she did and used to do. However, Chris caught astray when she told Dr. P she wants more foreplay. And she definitely didn't seem very enthused about, well, I won't say she didn't seem enthused. She just did too much talking. And just like that pause that Kirsten had when Dr. P asked her about Shaq, she did a long pause to talk about how, she felt about their intimacy. And look, maybe I'm being one-sided, maybe I'm being arrogant, but if somebody asks my wife or a woman that I'm with, how's the intimacy between us? I don't want a lot of words. It's either I really enjoy it, it's good. I mean, honestly, that's what I want to hear. When you got to explain it, when it comes along with a disclaimer. She asked about the foreplay. She paused again. And then, she went on to say she wants more of it. To me, I don't know. I really don't know. It sounds like she's about to eat him alive. And she's so busy focusing on herself and all the issues she feels like she brings to the table. I don't know that they're going to be able to get past it. And the way he was like tapping on her arm, that didn't look like a consoling tap, because he was just like this, like patting on her arm while she was talking. Then he was like patting her head. To me, it was like he was trying to console himself because he feels like he's in it. And I just also think it's very difficult. And this is where double standards come into play for any man to hear that your woman used to have mad, passionate sex with somebody else, and had angry sex. And now she's ready to be civilized when it comes to you. I just would want to erase all those thoughts. We got to queue up, Mario Winans. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about your past. I don't know about what you did. I want to know about the toxic sex you had, because I don't want to have to think about all those things. And that's my thought on those two.
Listen, I won't say much about Chris and Nicole. The less said, the better. But I do think there are some glaring issues that are starting to come up. Not necessarily in terms of that going to break them up. Just things they got to deal with. You know what I mean? I think she's got obviously some insecurities that they're going to have to deal with. She's a people pleaser. He too is a people pleaser. I think they're going to find themselves having to work through it. So I'd rather them stop trying to help everybody else and just focus on themselves for now. You know what I mean? Just get through it. Stop slipping notes underneath people's doors. Focus on your own thing. Okay. Stop directing the plays and the shows with the other couples and just focus on your own, So yeah, definitely I see that with Chris and Nicole. I think also, that they are a good match though. They're quite a good match and they have a good vibe with each other. But me personally, I just want them to focus on some of the issues they got going on. Just focus on those issues. Stop trying to direct the play in the movie of other people's situation. That's what I'm going to say. Stop directing the plays and leave them alone. Any other thoughts on Chris and Nicole? I didn't have much notes on them, to be honest, so that's why. I need all my strength on tussling with Sean and Ron. I use all my strength like the angel with Jacob, Brad. I don't use all my strength tussling. But yeah, I don't have any other thoughts. Any other thoughts as well? No? Okay. All right, cool. Well, let me read some of these super chats because we're bringing the show towards an end now. Phil Goody said Kojo's preaching tonight and sent us a little $2 bill. $2 bill, y'all. And Phil Goody put another one, said work trip. While he's working, she can be friends. They would have been having dinner dates after work. Grandma birthday every year, same day. Y'all know there's going to be a party. Okay. Estella Max said Kirsten, sorry, it's Kristen, but it's Kirsten, has the personality of a dry wall. Girl, go with your man and figure it out. She wants someone to hold her hand through life. I'm sick of her. Ooh, chalai. And the Nitty Gritty podcast says, say that ish, see way. Okay, so we appreciate that. All super chats are appreciated as well, guys. Thank you so much for showing that. Before we go anywhere, Sean, give us the beautiful benediction as you always do, sir.
Okay, well, we definitely had a good old time tonight, huh? You know, and I think this proves our point is communication is key, right? We need to have communication. We need to not only just discuss our needs and wants, but make sure that we are conscious and considerate of the people we're in relationships with, right? And get to know how they want to be loved as much as letting people know how to love us. So important. And also be genuine, right? And petty wars, are not to be fought in marriages, right? Nobody wins when the family feuds. So very important that if you're in a relationship, if you're in a marriage, pettiness is not your go-to. Pettiness should not be your default. And if you're doing it, pull away from it because it's not for the benefit of your relationships. When we think about Gina and Clint, great couple. Friendship is important in a relationship, but it can't be the only thing. We need intimacy. We need connection, and we also can't always think we're right. That's the beauty. And our great panelists, Seaway and Crystal, showed us today. There's beauty in apologizing. There's beauty in being wrong sometimes. We are all wrong at one time or another. And the better you are admitting that and being comfortable saying it, practicing it, the better you'll be in a relationship because it shows that you are humble. It shows that you are open. So please don't always be the first to be right. Very important. Chris and Nicole, we love them. They seem unproblematic on the surface, but like many relationships, we need to dig deeper if we're going to grow, if we're going to go on and move to marriage. And underneath the surface is most often where we find most of the issues, right? A house can look pretty on the outside, can have great walls and great brick, but if the foundation is shaky, that house too will crumble. Right. So we want to make sure our foundations are sure. We want to make sure that before we go into a relationship that we really do the inner work to be good for ourselves and to also be able to see and spot the issues that could be potential in us as well as in our partners. And Aris, lastly, and Jasmine, look. If you don't want her, then don't talk to her. As Fantasia has beautifully taught us, please don't drag it on. Be honest, be clear, be kind is what's most important, right? There may be people in our lives that we don't want or we don't fancy, but we can be kind, right? We can be kind. So I think that's most important. And then also having a level of self-awareness. Don't tolerate just anything from anybody. Don't allow anybody to reject you more than once. And that's for Jasmine. Know your value, know your worth, and be confident in who you are. And don't chase anybody. Back to you, Coach.
Hey guys, thank you so much once again for another fabulous show. It's been fun. It's been interesting. It's been enjoyable as well to have you guys on board. Listen, for those of you out there, the conversation continued to rage on about Kirsten and Shaq. Keep the conversation going in the comment section. Send this video to someone, and let them also enjoy some of the discussions that we had today. I know we spent like 2 hours on them, but that was amazing. It was a good conversation. I loved it, man. Those points were amazing. Got to tussle with my bro as well. You all got to see two healthy men tussle it back and forth. Nobody was angry. Nobody was hurt. Nobody insulted anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, when it's done right, people enjoy. You know what I mean? So, but listen, audience, thank you so much. Much appreciation tonight. Do we have a question? You have a question I can give to these peoples? Let me see my notes. So I have a question because I gotta do the the $5 bill, y'all. Okay, gotta do the $5 bill, y'all. Okay, so Hold on, let me play my little intro music to the $5 bill, yo. Do 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 do.
I put one in there for you too.
You got a question for me, yeah? Fantastic. Alrighty, cool. So we're gonna give you guys a $5 question as well. So fantastic. The question we have here for the rest of the audience is, why did Nicole say it was good to have a bidet? Why did Nicole say it was good to have a bidet? The first person who answers that question.
Bidet, Kojo. You know
A what?
It's a bidet.
What?
That's a bidet.
A bidet.
That's a bidet.
It's a bidet.
It's a bidet.
B-Day. It's a B-Day. B-Day.
Bidet.
Bidet. Bidet.
B-Day.
It's a bidet.
It's
Why you sound like
It's the one
Jocelyn
with the-
Hernandez? I can do there, your
not
bidet. Please, it's
Did African is there?
No, I just said it wrong. 'Cause it's just me. I don't even know the answer is. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't remember that part of the show. I don't have notes on that.
It's actually a combination between from what African Azatan said and Jay Vigors 67 said. It's like a combination of the two.
Okay, so who was first then?
I think African Azatan, but I'm not sure how it shows up. I mean, that's what I see on StreamYard.
Yeah, for me, that's what mine is. Yeah, for sex, right?
African
Okay, so she
Azatan
was the first
said-
one. African Azatan. Her internet must be working super fast because she bounced.
and she got the assist from Jay Vigors though, so they can split it to 250, 250 each.
Look, you said 250. Oh, mate. Just send your cash outs, both of you, and then I'll send you both a $5 in that case. I don't know who was the winner. I don't know the answer, and I didn't know who was saying what. So since we have the West,
she said when they have sex and if they don't get to take a shower. That's what
okay. So okay. So we can both give him $5. So Jay Vickers, you send me your cash app, and African Azatan, send me your cash app. We can get that.
Hers.
Oh, okay. To the cash fund. We don't have a cash fund for this particular one. This is the first one we had for this particular Married at First Sight. It's different from the Ready to Love one. So that's $5 into that then. Yeah. All right. Cool. So we'll start from there. All right. And for the panelists, obviously, because I don't want to be called cheap and that they'd be calling out my name out here secretly. They'd be having secret meetings behind the kind of doors. So my ass is cheap because I be giving them $5. So I gotta get them involved as well.
No,
okay?
I want my new merch. I want to sit on the bench and heal.
I told you, send me your. Oh yeah, did I not message you? I messaged Jay about it. So send me your address and I'll send it to you, bro.
Done.
We got new merch alert.
New merch alert. Yes, I got some new merch. So I said I owed Sean and Jay from the people that were in the first tranche. I've not given them to them for since then. They've been waiting like a year and a bit now, so they still waiting. All right, so for you guys in who are my panelists, okay, it's the first person in the chat, okay. So the question we have, okay, okay, here we go. Why my notes are short, boy. I really didn't watch this show at all, did I, guys? Okay, so question we have here is, who said that they had in fact, let me change the question. Who were they talking about when they said they have no swag?
JR is
Oh,
quick.
JR was quick when JR said, I already knew the answer
typed
before you
up
said
the
it.
name too. I was like,
You put connect.
I think he's fat.
he put connect. JR, send your cash up and then I'll send you $5 for that as well. Well, listen, audience, again, thank you so much. Make sure, Jay Vickers, you send me your cash app. It's been fun. It's been interesting. It's been amazing. Good fun. Don't forget as well, make sure you grab your the new merch. We want to see you guys wearing it. Okay, to share, you know. Make sure you get your little hoodie, sit on the bench and heal. We even got it in a bomber jacket for you guys. Some of you like that kind of look. Whichever way, some of you wanted a blanket. I got a blanket for you as well. You wanted a mug. I got a mug for you. You said you wanted a water bottle. I put a water bottle for you. Okay. All the things you asked for, they are there. Okay. They are there. So make sure you grab yours. Okay. We've got a little picture in the corner. Grab your merchandise. Get involved with us as well. All right. So listen, audience, been amazing, been great. We'll see you again very soon. But don't worry, I have to leave you with a little something. Okay. You know, if I'm leaving here, I'm leaving
here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
I'll have to make that into a hoodie. I'm leaving with something. All right. And
not on my watch. Not on my watch.
We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Someone said, remind them not to travel with Koja. You damn right. Ask Sean, I will leave you in a split second. Do not go with me because I don't have plans. I'm spontaneity. Okay, to a T. I'm gonna leave you in a lurch. I'm gonna leave you. You gonna leave with nothing. You gonna leave with nothing. All right, audience. See you very soon. Much